Right. You already know who this is. Your host, Miss Lady Lifestyle. The hostess with the mostest. So let me tell y'all what's coming the last days of okay? You know we're already in the last days, okay? So you've been should have been prepared. You've been should have got come together. You've been should have together. But anyway, if you're now starting your trials and tribulations, it's what the Father wants to teach you, okay? If you don't know, you don't have a clue. Like, what's going on? Like, oh no, everything has been so different since 2019. When are you going to go back to 2019? You're never going to go back to 2019. So get it right, or that's it. All captivity is over. All punishment is over. You don't have nowhere to go but go correct. Where are you going to go? Rest in peace to Twitch. If you're going to go, rest in peace to my son. If you're going to go, rest in peace to all these people that just lost their lives. You're going to go that way. You're going to change. You're going to obey the Father. You're going to obey the Father, whether you like it or not. And we're still getting in images, but look at all that destruction. And just immense destruction. Some of these structures, you can't even tell what it is, but this one, you do see the natural. There's plenty of wood. We got plenty of wood to put an RV together. What you call those land conversions. That's all. All you do is give you extra wood. I mean, it's so heartbreaking. That's all. He tore down that old so that y'all can build a new. Look, build an RV. Look at that. You got all that wood. Not only have we gone through you got plenty of wood now. Tornado outbreak, but we have to look at all that wood. You gotta look at it different. I'm looking at it different. Look at all that wood and look at all that tin. Look at that. You can put stuff together. Look at all that wood. You got a whole floor. No, I think that enough wood to build a van life. He's trying to get y'all to build a van life. Oh, take that as positive. Now y'all can build a van into a tiny house. Now you had a big house. Now God is trying to let you live in a tiny house. It's very hard the last few days for America. And we this is a tiny house. Let's build a tiny house. All that wood is out there now. And while all of this is happening, but I bet you there's nails. There's a hammer. Somebody had to have a hammer in their house. Not only for those people, snow, freezing rain, sleet is also possible, and then some parts of the Northeast today. Come on now. Come on now. Think positive. Where's your face? Where's your face? I mean, so hard hit by a blizzard, and although what is falling from the sky is kind of wrapping up for places like Oregon, it's about to go to the wind. Where's your face? This is to build up your faith. This is supposed to let you know that you have to cleave to the Most High Yah. You got to cleave to the Father. You got to cleave to the Most High Yah. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to hold on to what's about to come. You know, we can learn as we look at some of the damage that was left behind by this tornado outbreak. This was over in Mons, Louisiana. As you can see, because of the winds, this was likely. They even got Wi-Fi. And it unfortunately not only produced some down. Stay blessed. Stay blessed. Stay humble. Serve the Most High. Do His commandments, His will, His laws, His statutes. Keep up His laws, His dietary laws. Keep up His statutes. How you supposed to be humble. You know what I'm saying? One of the things we like to do is after a severe weather event, we like to look at the video. And the video, it always tells us exactly what happened, especially for places like Clark County. So let's just pause the video. I bet you Biden hasn't seen nothing like this before in his old age. Of course not.
because he was being blessed and protected while we were going through this. And now they're going through this. That's why he said it's unprecedented, all this after 70 years of his life. So we haven't seen this until now because all that is over.
And whenever you have what we call straight line movies, that is typically where we'll see damage that looks just like this, where you'll have the damage and it'll just look as though someone came out and just pushed it in one particular direction. Now, with straight line winds, we can actually see those winds exceed 165 miles per hour here. And then another shot here, I'm going to show you a live
He said, don't harm the trees. Don't harm the trees.
Caused by a tornado.
The father said, don't harm the trees.
We're situated.
Trees should be flourishing right now.
And also the impact here to some of these smaller tree branches here. All right, so take a look at here. You see how the trees there, they're basically pushed forward, and then you see how the tree branches are kind of pushed forward here, and they're kind of strewn all over the place over here and over here. This potentially means that there was a tornado that was possibly moving in this direction, this way. Why we say that is because the winds were coming out of the cloud, they were pushing all of that debris.
Oh, he's a smart black
result. See right there what happened there.
He's smart.
Trees right
it's all black, it's black,
exactly what the National Weather Service
meteorologist
are going to be saying about this. And based on the direction of the damage and how much damage was left behind here, that is whether or not that is how they can avoid.
Oh my God!
Here's another look at some of the
little car in a tree.
What we believe was a tornado. This is over in Peakville, Louisiana.
Look at all that.
The installation that unfortunately was pulled out from a home here. And let's stop the video right here because we can also likely conclude here that this was a tornado as well. Why? Look at how that power line is wrapped around that power pole there. Generally speaking, in straight line winds, those power lines would just be on the ground here. But anytime you see a wrapping sensation here like that, again, it's usually an indication here that we have tornadoes. Bottom line, whether or not it was straight line winds or tornadoes, there's still a lot of damage that was left behind, not only in Louisiana, but also Mississippi here. It's going to be interesting to read some of these reports here at the National Weather Service.
Yes, it will be very interesting to hear.
Jason, and surveys are still being conducted. We've got search and rescue operations that are underway across
the country. They have redlining. Didn't they have redlining all their life? Didn't we have redlining all our lives? You can't live over here, you gotta stay over here. You can't live over here, you gotta stay over here. You can't live over here, you're not invited to live over here. They don't want you over here. If you get caught over here, they kill you because they want you to stay over there. But now, what about redlining? God is going to destroy everything that's over here.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rudy.
God is going to destroy everything that's over here and protect everybody that's over there because his hand is on everybody over there. But now his hand is no longer on you over there, so now you're getting destruction. So now don't you wish you was over here?
And that's when it comes to tornado surveys,
that did it to yourself.
by the National Weather Service.
That did it to yourself. Now, if you was able to live in everywhere, then where's the Most High going to
Yeah,
destroy?
it's very important to understand what actually happened.
If we was able to live here and there and anywhere, then guess what?
Better with forecasts and warnings. We have to
It is what it is.
exactly
But
what
the Father
happened,
put us
how
over here
intense the
because
damage
the
was,
weak
and
has
we
to
go back
be
and
raised with the
correlate that with
kid.
what radar is actually showing. It's very good.
So if you over here, you're a part of the kid. You're the weak or the kid.
And for people at home, part of your job as the warning coordinator, you're the one that independently
Not a Republican or a Democrat.
making this decision. And the situation that we saw in the last 2 days, some of these tornado warning recommendations that you have to make were based
All
on
this
radar,
time.
not visual sight.
All this time.
That's the importance of why
It
these
takes
surveys
us growing
and
up
information
to get this
that
information.
helps you make those decisions in the future.
Yeah, those three primary tools that we utilize when we make important decisions. One is the radar, that's very important. Second is our spotters. And then third is the environment. We utilize those three tools to make those important decisions. We had a situation yesterday where a spotter reported a tornado, and it was in the middle of the swamp. I couldn't get to it. There was no roads in there. But he had fantastic pictures of it. We had very good evidence that
can't turn the fan off right now. If you hear the fan, it's the fan.
Right, there's different methods to do it.
But I'm listening to the news.
All three of those tools are very important to us.
And real quick before we let you go, because we know you have a lot on your docket today.
Okay, so let's discuss what's going on,
And,
okay?
that's a spot that got hit very hard yesterday, but they also
Let's
were
discuss
saying
what's
March
going on,
by
okay?
tornado. We're talking about less than a year.
They
Did you
own
say
a
you see across
judgment.
your state in
Okay,
Louisiana
that's
over the last
simple
5
what it
years?
is.
Did you say that your
Father
state
said
a
we go
lot
through
more
400
active
years
weather that's crossing
of
across the
this
state, not only
mess,
with tornadoes,
which has
but
been
also tropical weather
documented
and winter weather?
through them, 1619. They thought that that was a very big year for them. They know that year, 1619. They know about 1611 scriptures being authorized. It's about to be their blessing. 1619. But they didn't realize they just had 400 years to do all that evil that they did around us, to us, around us, and now they're doing it to their own people.
Thanks for having me on.
That's in Revelation 13.
Well, one of the other things that we are going to be monitoring is what's going to be
Who are
happening
these
in the
people?
northeast.
You gotta
this
read
morning
Psalm
and into the
83. You see, who these people he's about to put his neck on. Put his foot on their neck. That's what the Father said. Oh, you showed me that? Well, I know I can do that to y'all. So now he's taking everything away from y'all.
With warm air, whenever we have a cold front that is moving through there, it actually just lifts up the warmer air. And typically we'll find what we call a temperature inversion. Now, it's important.
Whoever doesn't comply is going to get it.
We will see
That's
some of that
it.
music. Sometimes we see some
So either do his commandments, keep his laws, and his statutes.
in some cases,
You know, right now we only got 10 laws, 10 commandments. That's it, 10 commandments.
Get cooler. But anytime you have that
Let's just do the 10 commandments. But in actuality, we got 613 commandments. But they've been brainwashing us with just 10. Do the 10 commandments. And then you might just be listening to other commandments that he gave us that we don't know that have been hidden from us. They've been hidden. They've been hidden.
At the surface, that's the reason why it's starting to freeze over, and you get that freezing rain, and with freezing rain, anything that comes in contact with that freezing rain. Correct?
Take a look at Pittsburgh this morning. I mean, wow, the state of Pennsylvania, you're just kind of seeing everything. Right now we're at 36 degrees, so we're just experiencing rain in Pittsburgh. But if you travel just about 45 miles out to the east, we have freezing rain, and eventually we're in for snow for much of the state. So we'll take you through the forecast coming up here on Fox Weather Push.
Now this starts your trials and tribulations, okay? And your trials and tribulations can last about 1,000 years.
We've got you covered.
Okay? Hold on. Let me turn this down. That's so nice. Keep us informed. Alright. So anyway, this starts your trials and tribulations. Okay? This starts your trials and tribulations, and you're going to have to get yourself out of those trials and tribulations. How? You're going to have to prove yourself worthy of this blessing, of this inheritance. So you have to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments loyally. Because God is, our Elohim is a jealous Elohim, right? So it's not like you do it 1 or 2 times and they're supposed to be happy. It's a relationship. It's a relationship that you have with your Abba, right? So it's not like, okay, I'm on board, but then you drop off and go back into the world, right? No. You really have to stay the path, stay the course, to show him that you're loyal to Abba. I'm loyal to Abba. I'm loyal to myself. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll be loyal to people, right? So this is what you have to do. It's a relationship building. And whose side are you on? You know what I'm saying? saying? Are you on the side of the world or are you on the side of the Most High? And if you're on the side of the Most High, you're going to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. If He doesn't want you to do this, then you don't do that. So just say, He's looking at you like cheaters. Like cheaters. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that, that poor cheaters, who said, I think my children is not being loyal to me. You need to go down there and scan all of them. So if they come up with a show named Cheaters, then that's how I feel about the Most High, right? Okay, he's my husband. Okay, I'm not going out on him. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep the commandments, I'm going to keep the laws, I'm going to keep the Sabbath. I'm not doing any idol worshiping, and I'm not doing no witchcraft or none of those things. I'm just doing the things I have to do in life, like cook, clean, and do laundry. That's it. Dance, work out, keep myself fit, still eat, still do the things I gotta do, to survive. But, I'm not making him jealous in those ways that he would frown upon. And he like, what? What are you doing? What? I don't want him to frown upon it. But, we all fall short. We all fall short. I thought, wrong. Please forgive me. Move it on, right? So, now that y'all have some thought, and y'all acted upon that thought, now the Father is upset. He's been upset with the churches for 400 years. Now that He turned His face back to us, we have to be on our P's and Q's. It's no longer flip it. We all fall short. Father knows, but you have to take heed, right? Grow up. Grow up. Like, this is not cartoon world anymore. This is not cartoon world anymore. This is no cartoon way of living right now. This is more like scripture way of living. There's no more milk, breast milk. Now this is the food. Now you're gonna have to eat, chew, and digest. This is food living food. You understand? Despite whatever they did to this regular food, this is the food that you need to eat to grow up, and get into the reality of what's reality, right? So cartoon was a great distraction. Hee hee ha ha, talking animals, talking trees, talking me, ha ha ha, look how funny, talking rats, talking cats. Ha ha ha, Tom and Jerry is so funny. You understand? However, this is still not a Tom and Jerry type of life that I'm living. You understand? So now, what is it that you want me to know? Because I grew up and I realized there's no talking cat or no talking dog running around my daggone house. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Oh, I'm supposed to cook. I'm supposed to clean. I'm supposed to do laundry. I'm supposed to take care of child. So I don't know. I don't know about you. I know about me. This lady lifestyle. And if I'm here to spread some information, give some type of knowledge, some type of wisdom, it's okay. So now read the scriptures. Look at the scriptures. Know who you are. It's like a love letter. Like our Father Abba just gave us a love letter. Now the people who gave it to us might have had no clue what it was talking about, obviously. Because they didn't read Obadiah 1. They do all this reading of the love letter, but they interpreted my Father wrong. So I feel that the scriptures is a love letter to keep ourselves correct. And just because they tampered with the love letter doesn't mean that some of that love did not shine through. So when you read Obadiah 1, that's his love for you. Like, boom, didn't I tell you I love you? And I looked at it when I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to read that myself. I was reading the scriptures myself, or glory to the Creator, as I came across Obadiah 1. And I was sitting at Starbucks, having my latte and a nice donut at Starbucks. I was in Manhattan at the Starbucks, having my latte, chilling out, waiting for company to come see me. I said, you know what, let me just sit in this Starbucks and just chill, read the scriptures on the low, because who else was around? You know who else was around. So I said, let me just sit and chill and read, and I just happened to turn to the page of Obadiah. It's only one chapter. That was only one chapter I needed to make me feel happy the rest of my life. Oh my Father, that was a love letter that was hidden. They must have slipped that in, like he slipped that in, like they didn't see that one chapter. Like nobody talked about that one chapter. They never talk about Obadiah 1. They talk about John, they say St. John, they talk about Matthew, they talk about Mark, they talk about all these people. Deuteronomy, I knew that word before I knew any other bigger word, like, what's that word we had to learn? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Remember that? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And it's like, I know that word. Now I was on Deuteronomy, Genesis, how the beginning, how the earth was created, and when and where. Okay, those got through. Thank you. I appreciated that. To read Genesis and to see what that there were nations and people and children, and that you broke up generations and say who belongs to who and who belongs to that. I appreciate that. But these pastors and preachers never told me about Obadiah. You know what I'm saying? Malachi, 2nd Exodus 6, Deuteronomy 6:7, Deuteronomy 7:6, Romans 9:13. They never went to those places with all the corruption, with all the evil that was going on, with all of that. Maybe y'all was scared out your mind. However, this is another generation that's not scared out their mind. Feel me? Okay, so now, as you preparing this study, this case study on yourself, this case study between you and the Father alone, about how to fix your life, how to heal your life, how to change your life, then you will understand, like, okay, it says all this in the scripture, it gives you the identity, I am black, my skin is black, this and that, listen, they miss words, they miss words, and that's only from the glory of the Most High. Okay, so now all of your responsibility is to do what the scriptures say to do. Come out of her, my people. I mean, that's in Revelation, like that is now. Come up out of her, my people, because whatever they're going to get afflicted with, you're going to get afflicted with. That makes sense to me. And I realized that none of their demons dropped off them, because we don't have a Messiah or someone to purge them their demons, so them demons are still living in them. Okay, so now you put two and two together. Who are they talking about? What's going on? And they say they act this way, and they boast against the natural answer. And they boast about this, and they boast about that, and they boast about this. So they do all that boasting, and they've been doing all that boasting. Okay, so now what's going to happen? Oh, they're going to bring themselves up top, and I'm going to bring them down like stubble. Y'all know what stubble is? It's what y'all living around now. It's stubble. You know, the broken houses, the torch trees, all that is stubble. So he's going to bring it down like stubble because y'all were so up and high-minded, like luxury penthouse. Like everything was built up for your glory, but not for his glory. So all that did was to build up for your own glory and not for his glory. Okay, so now he's going around sweeping the nations. Did you see them trees laying down on the ground? That was a powerful sweep. You see them tornadoes and those wind things going around and around? That's a powerful sweep. You understand? So when you say I'm going around, I'm going to sweep the nation of all thy enemies. This is a huge sweep. So first you got rid of your houses. Now you have a decision to make. Are you going to stay there and try to rebuild? Or are you going to get up out of here like you're supposed to? Get up out of here, go to Europe, get up off the land, and let's see what the Father has for us. Basically, either you please to us and do the right thing by us, or get up out of here. But that's what he's doing. It is what it is. So that's what's going on in this news. Let me see if we're back on. We're in Tampa, Florida. So that's what's the big news about all this destruction of the land. Because Babylon is going down for all the things that the Gentiles did to us. And that says it in Obadiah 1. Because they're going down. They're going to be cut off. They're being cut off of his grace. All I gotta do is explain it so that all the blood can be off of my doorstep. I gotta wipe off all of that. So I'm telling you, whether you like it or not, I'm going to tell you, right? Because it keeps me clean, it keeps my spirit clean, it keeps my soul clean. So because you know, like they said, dust off your robes, dust off your things, because now they know it's up to nothing else to do. That's it, you gotta do it. You gotta keep the laws, you gotta keep the commandments, you gotta do that. You know why? Because it says it. And we try everything. We tried to educate ourselves, they cut us down for that. We try to dress like them, they blew water in our face. We tried dressing like them, and they blew hoses like water in our face. How disrespectful that you're going to stick a dog and blow water in my face while I'm trying to dress like you. And they had on suits and ties, walking to work, having their briefcases and suitcases with their work in there. They were really trying hard to blend in. And you're going to blow water in their face? You're going to stick a dog on them? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I thought that was so disrespectful. Your men been cheating on you by having sex with a slave woman, and you gonna start doing abortion? So it's your man that was interested in the slave woman. So now you have all these mixed children coming out of your house. Or should I say, coming into your house because that's daddy. The house servant, the housemaid is now mommy. And he's going to keep tapping that. He's going to keep tapping that if that slave woman is living in the house. That's why they gave you women's lib, to get your asses out the house. So you thought that you was fighting so that you can have your independence and you will work like a man, right? You thought that you was having your independence so that you can go out there and work and make a living too, right? Nah, he just wanted you out the house so he can have his slave woman still in the back of the house. You understand me? He wasn't taking out no garbage. They don't even do recycling. Y'all people don't even know how to recycle. So he wasn't going out there to take out the garbage. He was going out there so he could see his slave woman. So y'all ain't doing nothing new now that y'all have been doing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So that's why they got cheaters out there. Because that's what y'all been doing. It wasn't going back there killing the slave girl. It wasn't going back, y'all, to kill the slave girl. Nah, they would kill you, chick. They were quick to kill their own white wives. That's why they still killing y'all. Their white wives. That's on Murder Mystery, honey. I ain't putting up that show. Y'all put out your own show. I just watched. Welcome back, Grand Rising, Welcome into the world. Welcome to the new world. Welcome.
On top of recovery, the active weather is on tap today, but we'll also have active weather to the north, where winter beginning to show itself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been calling this a buffet of moisture, right? Because depending on where you are, you're either seeing freezing rain, you're possibly even going to see some snow today, and even some rain. We have ice storm warnings in effect for portions of Virginia as well as Pennsylvania. As that
looks like red line to me.
Does have the potential of creating a whole lot of
I don't see no ghetto over there.
This morning over in Charlottesville, Virginia, as well as State College, Pennsylvania. These are both going to be places that are going to be hit by some of that winter weather. You can already see there over in Charlottesville, Virginia. I believe that looks as though we've seen some freezing rain there, and that's not one of those things that cameras. But Gene, in the meantime, let's track what's happening in the South. And we just got a tornado watch that hit Florida.
Yeah, I don't think it comes as much of a surprise as
It's
watching
getting
the
to trying to get y'all to see that you don't have control over everything. They don't have control over the tornado. Okay, and that's who you're supposed to be crazy to. That person. No. That entity that whirls around, like keeps whirling around,
Staying aware,
That's
staying
the
vigilant. Right now, we
force
don't have
that
really
you
any
have to
warnings for
respect.
nothing severe, but we do
Because
have
that's the
destructive rain
force
as well as
that you have nothing else to do but
here's a
to
look at that cold front. You can see a sharp cutoff where the colder air really sits up towards Virginia, and then we're
and that tornado is going to go wherever that force
Georgia and Florida.
totally
Let's in fact take a look at Florida
So
right now.
that
So
force
again, that
told
watch
that
being
tornado
extended across
to be
central
released,
portions of the peninsula, where right now we are in
to
Texas,
go
severe
around
weather.
like this,
But these thunderstorms just offshore definitely have a
go
lot of juice
around,
in them. We
go
do
around
have
like
lots
this,
of lightning,
and they took a
upwards
path,
of 200
and it
to
didn't stop
250 strikes just in
until
the
the
last
path
5 minutes.
was
And because of
destroyed.
that, all of that instability, we could see a little bit of twisting in these
Now
storms.
that's
We'll watch it
respect.
closely as we continue to see them march a bit closer to that coastline. But
So
for
I
now,
like
Tampa,
this
Bradenton, into
Weather
North
Channel. I like the
Myers
Weather
area.
Channel.
Quiet start, but we have to
If y'all don't
Gainesville
see
and
the Most High
Jacksonville
God
where the
in
showers are
this,
just
I
beginning
don't
to
know.
emerge. You can notice too
He
where
really
we
got you
shift
asleep.
back into the green heating and stability
when they
through the afternoon.
go
West
through
through
it.
the Carolinas, the Queen City, we're showing you the wet camera there.
Now, how much of a lie
Extra minutes,
can this
as this low pressure
meteorologist
system spins up to the north, you can see that here.
keep
Our
telling
big
me
storm system
about
is going to continue
a
to spin
weather
up through
that
the
the
Great
Most
Lakes region,
High
but it's going to continue to
is doing?
transfer its energy to a low pressure system that forms off the coast of the Delmarva throughout the day
Show me
today, and that's
pictures
when we begin to
of
tap
the
into that
actual
very
destruction.
air. Icing has been a big concern this morning.
Now, Cox can lie to you.
Portions of
These
Pennsylvania,
videos,
showing
things
up
like
on
that,
radar
that's a lie.
here, giving us very slick
So I don't
conditions.
even trust
Take
their
your time
news.
to continue to break down those impacts throughout the day today.
I don't even listen
Well,
to their
Jared,
news.
a question that I've
But
been getting,
this weather,
and
yeah, I'll listen to the weather.
happening, and how long is it going to last?
Forever.
So let me get to the good news here, and that is this new weather, it is going to end today. The bad news is we're going to see some lingering effects here, but let's look at the setup here on why all of this has been happening. So we've got a massive low pressure system that has been pretty much moving very slowly across the upper Midwest, but that energy has been transferred all the way down to the Gulf Coast here. Now, whenever you start to see on infrared radar some of these darker colors that are popping up, so I'm talking about your oranges, I'm also talking about your deep reds here. That means we got a whole lot of moisture here in our atmosphere. Now, the reason why this is going to be going,
I believe him because he's a black guy, and he know he did his homework. You know he know what he's talking about right here.
Gold color. That means we got some what's going to slowly start to push in there. So this is what's going to happen for those of you in places like St. Louis, and eventually this is going to move into not but also Tennessee here. But remember, I talked a lot about some of that storm energy, and that is the reason why we remain really concerned about the potential for some severe weather here for today. Because you see where all of that storm energy is? Yeah, it's right there. It's off the coast there of Tampa, and that is where we remain really concerned about the potential for some of that severe weather. And that's why we weren't surprised to see that tornado.
I wonder how many slaves went through that place.
Possibility of tornadoes.
I wonder if that took us a lot. But they said it's going to be affected. Tampa, Jacksonville, Savannah, all of that hit the worst. I wonder that's where they took the slave people.
So at the surface, where we are, for places like Panama City, we're starting to see the winds coming out of the north and moving in over the ocean. But for places like Tampa, at the surface, they're coming
That probably took us slaves that route.
Once you start moving into the upper levels, that's where we're starting to see that wind changing direction here, and it's also changing speed. It's coming more out of the west here, and that was the reason why we saw that tornado watch extended for
that's how I think.
Central as well as northern
I think this destruction is coming away. The slaves were brought here, down by Gulf. You know, that's how they travel up to Virginia.
It's scary.
So it's taking our path.
You know, and then you don't believe what you're seeing, especially for me to see it in March, you know, on the 22nd of March, and then see it again. It was so much closer this time. Like, the lightning was just insane. It's devastating to hear.
That's the Father waking y'all up.
You know, with the thunderstorms yesterday, a number of tornado
waking y'all
warnings,
up
you know, off in the distance.
to his power. He's waking y'all up to his power. Don't worry about what little power that you got, what little power that you think you have. But this is a major power. This is the most high power. Can you outdo his power? Nah, I don't think so.
Apart, you can see everything just kind of strewn about in
Every nail is out. Every nail is out. Every block is off.
and you can just see
Showing you I could do it.
completely leveled this pool, making it off in the distance.
So all that work y'all did, all that the construction people did, is blown away in like 5 minutes and an hour.
Damage as well as the wind.
All them nails on the floor.
And you know,
All those windows y'all put, the glass is on the floor.
Metro area back in March, and then to see it again in these same areas. I mean, also too, just to show you the visibility is so reduced because of the heavy rain that came through, as well as the tornado front.
3 days of darkness is
It
on
just
its
goes to
way.
show that you don't want to go looking.
Now, everybody not going to experience those 3 days of darkness,
Even if you
but
have
I think y'all going to experience those 3 days of darkness.
so torrential, which is like what we saw yesterday.
You know, like,
You don't be able to see the damage. And then on the flip side of that, not only did we have severe weather, but
It's just kind of like that, you know, because got a little skiing in Colorado. Yes, I was skiing a lot. So maybe I'm looking at it different.
You take a look here in West
I just don't want that over
where you
here.
see the piles of snow just down in the middle of the lane there. And they've been trying to clear at least a little bit of a path so that we can get out and about. But the visibility reduced greatly, especially because the winds were also picking upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Near blizzard conditions are going to make driving nearly impossible and very dangerous. You can see how much snow we have.
Stay home.
You have nowhere to put it anymore. So you
You
just
don't
have
have
to
no
clear it
place
away
to go.
and
You
hope
might
that
as
you'll be
well
able
stay
to get
home
making a lane
and
that needs
find
to get through
something
some
to
of these
do.
downtown. Now, unfortunately, we are going to continue to see the snow take us into the weekend. It's going to continue to fall.
Pick up Jack.
Inches as
Learn
we
how to play
close out
Jack
this week.
all
Wind will
over
continue to
again.
stick around,
Play
blowing that
cards.
snow. And so
Learn how to play
travel really
solitary again.
unadvised as you go throughout the next 7 days.
Yeah, well, one other place where travel
Knit a
is
sweater.
unadvised is
Learn
going to
how
be
to knit
over in
all over
Charlottesville,
again.
Virginia, as well as
Sew
State
some
College,
fringes
Pennsylvania.
on the
There's
end of
going to be
this
places
shirt.
that are going to continue
Learn
to
how to
see
do fringes
the
again.
tornado impact
Do
already.
something.
Look at the streets
Work
there over
out.
at State College. We're seeing some of the
Put some
lights that
stretches
they're
in.
already sticking. And over in Charlottesville, Virginia, it looks like they already got some freezing wind here. So as we
Just
take a look
imagine
right
this
now,
winter is like
some
lockdown.
of that heat that's been popping up there. Anytime you ever see
You could be out there in the snow, or you could be on quarantine in your house.
Towards a white snow that's moving through. And as we're seeing temperatures slowly starting to decline here across much of the northeast here, we are going to continue to see this mixed bag of precipitation. 32 right now in Winchester, 31 over in Bedford. And you see how wide that peak is that's showing up there on the radar. So this extends not only from Maryland, but north of there across much of the Keystone State and into
Oh my God, that's like a sheet of blanket. That's like a sheet. Oh my God, look how thick that
You
is.
can see that it's already snowed there, and we're going to continue to see some more of that moisture move through. And over in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it looks like some
Thank you for checking in.
already moved through there.
You know my videos are long.
At about 31
You know I'm in
degrees
this
there.
house
So this
a
is
long
means that we're
time.
going to see some cold spots. And the reason why all of this is happening is because we have different temperatures at different
Now I might
points of
step
the
out,
atmosphere. So
go
generally
cook
speaking,
a
North
little bit.
America,
I might step out to go to the store, and then. But I'm back here. I'll be back here.
That's the reason why you'll end up seeing some rain. But sometimes what will happen is you get what we call the temperature inversion.
I'll be
And that
back.
means it starts to warm
But I don't
up
have to go nowhere right now.
as you get
So I'm
up into
just
the upper atmosphere. That's
saying.
essentially what we're seeing here. So at 15,000 feet, it's 7 degrees. 10,000 feet, it's 34 degrees. And then at 5,000 feet, it's 43 degrees. But look at what happens at the ground. Ends up getting colder. And that's the reason why we're seeing some freezing rain across some
This is the truth. Other people I watch is the truth. This weather channel is the truth. Look how all that snow, look at all that snow.
In fact, Minnesota remains under a winter storm warning throughout the day today. Blizzard warnings for places like the blue. Not done yet across the Northern Plains.
And let's take a live look over at Miller, South Dakota, where we are still under a winter storm warning until 12 o'clock today. It's going to be miserable to be outside. We're going to see some winds that are gusting up to right around 46 miles per hour. And we got some more snow on the way, even though the miles were out earlier this morning. Coming up here on Fox 101, we'll let you know when the snow is finally going to move out of there.
Look at that. They got a lot of snow.
At Fox Weather, am I on the situation? We've got
All right. I'm going to say the best.
weather and
Shalom,
everything in between.
shalom. I wish everybody the best. Shalom, shalom.
Nothing more important to us.
I wish everybody the best. Shalom, shalom.
From morning forecast to holiday
I
travel.
wish me the best. I wish you the best.
and a passion for
I wish everybody the
we
best.
love what we do.
Fox Weather, weather together. Are you eligible for Medicare? Joe Montana is, and he enrolled in a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan. He knows about coverage, and WellCare provides the extra benefits he wants. Hi, I'm Joe Montana. When you get to be 65, you have little patience for nonsense and inefficiency.
Okay. Let me put this down. Joe
That's why
Montana
when I
said that.
qualified for Medicare, I went with WellCare. Take it from Joe. As a WellCare member, you get a $0 or low monthly plan premium on your medical coverage. And
prescription drugs with $0 generics. And that's not all.
Plus, a flex card to pay for extra dental, vision, and hearing expenses, an over-the-counter allowance, and even give-back plans that put money back into your Social Security check.
Call us at 1-866-650-0259. We'll send you our free Medicare all-in-one guide with everything you need to know about Medicare and tell you how to get a $0 or low monthly plan premium on your medical coverage. Prescription drug coverage with $0 generics, dental, vision, and hearing coverage, a WellCare Flex card, money for over-the-counter items, and money back in your Social Security check. WellCare is committed to providing our members great Medicare coverage that includes extra healthcare benefits. If you want to learn more about WellCare, call 1-866-650-0259. We'll send you our free Medicare all-in-one guide. Or visit our website, enrollwellcare.com. That's 1-866-650-0259 or enrollwellcare.com to enroll today. WellCare, it's Medicare done well.
You guessed it, more snow for the upper Midwest and now the Northeast getting in on some action. Storm has dropped in upwards of 2 feet of snow across the plains. Take a look here in South Dakota. The winds were a big component here. I mean, visibility dropped to nearly zero. It looks like just maybe a couple hundred feet in front of you. In fact, if you look very hard off the distance, you can see a tractor trailer looks to have gone off to the side of the road. Wow. Here, it's all right, but the snow continues to blow across the way. I mean, almost in streams. And this is always tough to do. When you try to clear out the road, but then you get the winds like that, it's almost as if you didn't, because engines continue to pile up.
Well, and I'm always concerned about visibility at this point because, as you saw in that shot there, I mean, it was maybe just a couple of hundred feet, and you just couldn't really see anything there. And I've been in situations really similar to this where you're driving and you can't even see maybe about a quarter of a mile away here. And this is why, they've been telling people that if they can, just stay off the road and cross over. It's just miserable, Jamie.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't want to be driving on the roads like this. I mean, think about it, like how tense you are, just trying to slow down, and it's just not good. And so I would say, even I know we're getting a little fatigued with the snow and the wind. Just hold out till the weekend where hopefully things will start to wind down.
That's some good advice. That's some good advice. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go.
Take a look at all the snowfall from yesterday.
Don't be in his path. Don't be in his
trying to make their way around. This is not what you want to do. Let the plows get out there. Let them do what they need to do there. But there are definitely some response around Wyoming. Let's take a live look this morning over at Deadwood, South Dakota, because that was another place where we did see it. Okay, never mind. We don't have that live shot there. But what we do have is all of these warnings to tell you about this morning. And look at that. The thunderstorm warnings that have been talking about for not only North Dakota, but also South Dakota. But the biggest warnings that still remain are going to be those blizzard warnings for southwestern portions of not only South Dakota, but even those who are extending into the wind here. So part of the reason why we're concerned about this is because of the blowing snow potential here. And look at those winds that have been gusting up to 22 miles per hour over in Marquette, 44 miles per hour over in Duluth, and we're seeing sustained winds at about 26 miles per hour. At least it gets a little bit more calm as you get into Minneapolis. Now let's take a live look over at South Dakota, because temperatures this morning are going to be in the upper 20s, and we are going to continue to see the winds.
And they got to go to work on that. They got to go to work. They got to get through there to get to work. So you really got the weekend.
Tomorrow morning, and the wind chill is going to
jobs are closed. People are closed. People things are closed. They're not going through all that. They're not going through all that.
On the way, all of this because we have a very slow-moving low-pressure system. So where you see some of those peaks that are popping up, including for those of you in Fargo, as well as International Falls, we can see anywhere from 1 to upwards of 7 inches of snowfall. That means parts of the Northeast are going to be seeing some condition. Fox 5 DC meteorologist Matthew Papucci joins us right now in Purcellville, Virginia. And Matt, where you are, you're either seeing rain, you're seeing some freezing rain, and just to the north of you, we could likely even be seeing some snow here later on today.
Yes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And the transition zone is so incredibly sharp. Just about a half hour ago, we were roughly 20 minutes east of where we are right now. And I can tell you, it was just raining. There was nothing much. And now look at Purcellville. It's very impressive. Icicles in all the trees. I've only got 20 to 10 minutes of ice accretion so far. But this is more than enough to make for slick spots in the roadways, any untreated surfaces, and of course vegetation. It looks pretty, but it is problematic. It's even accreting right now on metal surfaces. Take a look at this, a little power flow right here. This is all rime, all ice. Now, the reason we're seeing this over such kind of a narrow area in the interior of the Atlantic is because that larger load we talked about, that load that was sprawling across the entire country, is transferring its energy to a new load over the Appalachians. Now, loads been counterclockwise, so near the coast, that's pulling in moisture and warm air off the water, causing rainfall, but temperatures above freezing. Farther inland, kind of dragging down, bleeding cold air down south. We can call that cold air damming, and you get the idea. We get this sort of thing. Now, I want to take you on a tour of the atmosphere as to why we're actually seeing this freezing rain. You get to about 4,700 feet. The temperature upstairs is roughly 40.3 degrees, obviously well above freezing. The freezing layer is about 4,200 feet. Just about 2,300 feet above the ground, the air temperature falls to about 25. So what's falling as rain comes down, very quickly freezes, and you get the idea right here. If we had a deeper cold layer, we would talk about snow or sleet. That's not the case, and really, this is by far the most dangerous form of precipitation. Now, we see up to about 0.3 inches of ice accretion far northwest of here in Garrett County, Maryland. Not an issue close to the DMV, close to the DC area, but regardless, we're seeing this right now. About 2 or 3 more hours of kind of high impact conditions far west of DC along like 66, 270, interstates like that. But really, it's a good thing that the crews have pre-treated the roadways as well as they did. Hopefully folks take it easy this morning as they're commuting to and perhaps from work.
You know, Matthew, I know it is always fascinating to see this happen from inside your house or even inside the studio, and it looks so pretty there behind you. But can you also talk about the impacts to sidewalks? Because I think a lot of people, obviously, we're used to talking about ice on the roads and the fact that it's retreating, but the sidewalk can get very slippery very quickly.
That they certainly can. One of the tricky things about freezing rain is that so often we see all the pre-treatment just washed away because snow doesn't slip and slide, sleet doesn't slip and slide, they don't pile up, but rain slips and slides and just carries that pre-treatment away, which is why it's really tough to get the sidewalks ready, the roadways ready in advance. In this case, just qualitatively, I can tell you, it doesn't look that bad here yet. I do think we'll see things change a little later on because as we saw that metal pole just above the ground, we're seeing that accretion. I think it's something folks are going to really want to watch, especially west of town, later on this afternoon in the evening hours. But yeah, you're exactly right. You can very quickly get those secondary surfaces to blaze up, those bridges, the overpasses, even sidewalks too. If anything untreated, your back porch, your deck, your patio, they could be slip and slides later on this morning until temperatures warm around lunchtime.
All right, Fox 5 DC meteorologist Matthew Pucci, thank you so much for reporting live this morning in Purcellville, Virginia. Jimmy?
You heard Matthew talk about that cold air off to the north. Well, that's what's going to keep things really all snow for places like Buffalo, 35 degrees. Not quite there yet. You can see that temperature above freezing, and so we are going to continue to watch as the storm system moves in. However, those temperatures are expected to drop. A little bit of rain to get you going this morning, but we do have winter storm watches, warnings in place, winter weather advisories, as well as the ice storm warning, and that's the big concern right now across portions of Virginia, northern portions of Virginia, getting into the central portions of Pennsylvania. Ice showing up very nicely on our radar, on our future track, almost kind of simultaneously stacking up, which is what we like to see because we have a good handle on how things are expected to be. But where that rain-snow line sets up is going to be quite interesting. So here's a look at as we go throughout the morning hours. That cold air is kind of coming its way in. Now, one of the things that we're going to be concerned with is going to be our interstates and our roads, secondary roads as well, where we do have that ice that is expected to continue. Now, a 1/10 of an inch of ice to even 1/4 of an inch of ice doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it will bring in perhaps some crippling impact. That ice will hang down on those power poles, will get those slick surfaces, especially elevated bridges, and so just taking your time as you go throughout the day today. DC, one of those trickier spots where that colder air is a sneaky layer of warm air that comes in, but a lot of that warm air is going to continue to hang along the coast. So that Washington, D.C. to Boston, it is going to just stay a bit too warm. I know you step outside and you think, well, I need all of that my winter gear. It is still chilly, but yes, it all depends on that number. And temperatures getting into the low 40s, albeit chilly, will continue to stick us with rain throughout the day today. It is going to be a soggy mess at times. We could see some downpours, especially along the Jersey Shore, getting into the New York metro area by the evening commute. Note a lot of the pink has gone away as we go into the evening hours, and that's because that colder air really starting to settle in. We will see significant snow begin to fall as we go through the overnight across upstate New York. That low pressure system is going to continue to expand off to the northeast, and as it deepens, we're going to see snow continue to wrap around across northern portions of New England. That rain does begin to give way overnight for the 95 corridor. However, New England, Boston, you can't really see here that rain snow line as it sets up. Very thin, but is a difference maker in what we're going to see across the state of Massachusetts. Portions of western Massachusetts, snow, and then we get up towards Boston to the metro area. We are dealing with a very chilly rain. All of this expected to clear out by early Saturday morning, lingering across northern portions of Maine, where we are expecting several inches throughout the day, but nonetheless clearing out for the weekend, which I think Jason will have that like to see for our weekend plans. But from now until the start of Saturday morning, we need to take it slow. Snow expected to pile up to nearly a foot or more, especially throughout upstate New York. It's going to be great for our ski resorts, but that ice, I think, is going to be the greatest concern over the next several hours, especially across Pennsylvania, getting into northern portions of Maryland. So taking our time, taking it slow as we go throughout the day today.
Well, Jay, let's talk about how all of this is going to be impacting the home for the holidays forecast, because many of you are going to be traveling by the road today. Maybe some of you are going to need to try and get a head start there. Live look over at Gaithersburg, Maryland. We've been watching this truck here. It's pulled over there earlier this morning. We did see some of those trucks moving out and about there over in Maryland. We get ahead of this storm, trying to throw down some salt to make sure that things were going to be as slippery here. So Jane had mentioned all of the pink there that was going to be popping up here across the radar for those of you in Pennsylvania, as well as Western New York, even extending into Maryland here. And this is going to continue to slide northeastward, impacting not only I-90 but also 81 and even I-76 over in Pennsylvania. So this is going to be your afternoon drive here. So even though things for some of you may be A-OK for this morning in the Northeast, by this afternoon, we're expecting widespread precip. And the reason why I'm calling it precip is because depending on where you are, you'll either see freezing rain later on this morning, transition over into some snow, or for those of you south of I-95, you'll end up seeing some significant rain out of this. And then for the evening rush, we'll likely start to see that rain moving into some of the bigger cities, including Philadelphia as well as New York City. And then for those of you on the New York State Thruway, it could be a slippery commute here, home here. As far as the airports go, we'll also see some delays popping up, including those of you over in the MCO area or in Orlando. We got a weather delay that will likely impact places moving into and out of the Orlando airport up to an hour due to some thunderstorms. Jane?
Let's head south of South Carolina, where it's cloudy overcast. You can see the wet boardwalk here. Showers expected to continue throughout your day today. Keep the umbrella on hand. 67 degrees, a little bit of a light wind. We'll be monitoring the potential for severe weather as we go throughout the day, especially a little bit further to our friends in Florida. Stay with Fox Weather. Continue to monitor them. It's officially Christmas travel season, and Fox Weather has you covered.
All your holiday travel needs all week long. Home for the holidays. Fox Weather. Weathering it together.
Are we there yet?
This is the sound of the season's favorite gift. Right now, Omaha Steaks is offering the favorite gift package. That includes 4 of our famous pork tender filet mignons, 4 air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, franks, sides, desserts, and more. All for just $89.99. That's over 70% off. Order now to include 4 more burgers free. And we'll deliver in time for Christmas. This exclusive food offers are best of the season, and it won't last. Order today at omahasteaks.com/TV.
Is that a noise spam call? RoboKiller eliminates 99% of unwanted calls. and our answer bot have fun blocking your robocalls.
Start clicking my phone. Hang on.
You gotta hit him in the nose. Got it.
Almost done. I'm sorry, just give me 2 seconds. Got it.
So you can live your life spam call free. Download RoboKiller today.
This time of year sparks the imagination of everyone, young and old. Do you have an invention but don't know what to do next? This holiday season, it's time to do something with your idea. Go to InventHelp.com now to get your free inventor's information. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention and 3D animation and prototype modeling to help you demonstrate your idea. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. Every year you do so much for the ones you love. This holiday season, why not do something for yourself? Go to InventHelp.com now or call 844-7-INVENT for your free information. Happy holidays from your friends at InventHelp. Welcome back to Fox Weather First. I'm Jason Fraser.
And I'm Jane Menard. Well, it has been a very active 2 days. We're going on day 3, and it's just heartbreaking to see the images from these communities of the damage from the tornadoes that Rick talked about.
Yeah, so Louisiana has really been hard hit over the past couple of weeks here. And take a look at this video. This is from Louisiana. And you can already see, I mean, just not only the damage that was left behind there, but look at the power of the winds there. As a result of these winds, it knocked down not only some power lines, but also some trees as well. And it damaged a number of homes here in the area. So what's going to end up happening is later on today, the National Weather Survey teams are going to be going out, and they're going to be not only looking at the damage, but they're also going to be figuring out exactly, one, why this happened, and then two, what was the strength of this. And I want to show you some video here. Let's pause the video here. This was from Clark County, Mississippi here. And whenever we as meteorologists look at images like this, one of the things that we're looking at is what is the damage left behind here? Because depending on what caused the damage, whether or not it was tornadoes or straight line winds, we make a determination as far as moving forward how we can better predict events like this here. So in this particular image, we see a couple of things happening here. So not only do we see some trees that have been what looks like it was pushed ahead here, but we also right here also are looking at some trees that have been broken here in half. And anytime we end up seeing this, that usually is an indication of a tornado. Now, tornadoes, they have winds that flow inward, and they can be circular. They're anywhere from 40 to upwards of 300 miles per hour. And when you look at stuff like this, also these trees, that usually is an indication that there was a little bit of twisting going on here. But as we'll pause the video here, you see how all of these trees look like they were pushed out? It doesn't necessarily look like a bomb went off, it just looks like all the trees are in one direction. That usually is an indication that the damage was caused by straight line winds. Now, straight line winds usually come from a huge downburst, which is a very huge gust of wind that comes from a cumulonimbus cloud. And sometimes we can have those winds exceed 165 miles per hour. Now, many people will get confused between straight line winds and tornadoes just because they have a huge roar that is associated with them. But I want to show you another example of this. This was over in Peakville, Louisiana. And you can see all of the damage that was left behind there. I mean, look at that. That is someone's insulation there. There's someone's home there. And you see the twisting mechanism that happened as a result. You see how it looks as though all of the trees there are just kind of thrown in different directions. That's how we likely know that this was all caused by the tornado. Look at that power line and look at how it was twisted right around that light pole. That is a classic example of what a tornado is, I should say what a tornado ends up leaving behind here. And look at all the trees there, right there, associated with all of that damage. You see how it looks like they were also pushed down and almost like a bomb went off? Look at those trees right there. Yep, that's exactly what we tend to see here with tornadoes. The other thing is, and in a later clip, you're going to end up seeing this here. Look at all of that. It looks like someone's siding that was right there. You see how it's like twisted like that? Again, that is exactly what we end up seeing with a tornado here. If it with straight line winds, likely that little metal section right there with a silver flag there. Let's keep the video moving here. One of the other things that we'll notice here, let's pause the video one more time here, because I just saw this here. You see how it looks like that wooden piece is just up there, right there in the electrical poles? Again, it's usually an indication that there was a little bit of twisting here. Let's play the video here one more time here. And one of the other things that we as meteorologists also will look for is how the roots of trees here, let's pause this one more time here, how the roots of the trees end up looking here. All right, so with the roots, the reason why that's important is, again, if the tree line winds, usually the roots of the tree will be pushed forward, right? But whenever you have a tornado, you see how all the roots are in kind of like different directions that are over here? Yeah, that is a classic example of what we see with tornadoes. So Jane, a lot of analysis is going to be happening here, not only in Louisiana, but in other parts of the South here. It's going to be interesting to see what the meteorologists from the National Weather Survey teams are going to be concluding as a result.
Yeah, we'll definitely await that information. Hard to work ahead of them. A winter weather alerts stretch across the interior Northeast, bringing the concern for ice and freezing rain to the morning commute. Fox 29 Philadelphia reporter Shayna Ferreira joins us live from King of Prussia. Shayna, the question is, what are you seeing on the ground? It's a tricky forecast this morning. Any slick spots to be concerned with?
Yeah, for sure. So this is the first real winter weather event that we've experienced so far in the Philadelphia region, and this is kind of what the situation looks like to my right. This is a King of Prussia, Route 202, about 40 minutes outside of the city of Philadelphia, and this is Montgomery County. And so far, so good when it comes to the commute part, but the roads have been pretty slick. That is the concern. We just heard from AAA on our show today, Philadelphia, talk about the need to slow it down. And this is also the opportunity for everyone to give everyone a little extra room on the roads as well, because the concern is when you have these slippery conditions, when you have this mixed rain coming down eventually, the folks could slip out of control, especially when they're going on highways, going off ramps to go throughout their commute. So the concern here at this point, even though we don't see anything sticking at this point, is the fact that it is going to be slippery. And because of the temperature, because of the rain, of course, eventually going to sweep through this area, is going to make for a really messy morning commute, and also potentially a messy evening commute for those that are working their way in and out of this area. So really, it's been slow going, but precipitation at least started about 7 a.m. We've been out here since 4, but it started consistently about 7 a.m., right in time for the morning commute. So at this point, the concern is for folks to eventually take it slow this morning. And if you haven't already, to begin thinking about what your emergency preparedness kit looks like. We heard from AAA recently to think about, when there's an event, a weather event on the way, what can you do? Gas up your car the night before. Make sure you have water in your car. Make sure you have all those non-perishable snacks, a portable charger, all of those things that are vitally important. If you remember the pile-up last year, we're coming on a year since January 2nd, where motorists were stuck on 95 for well over 20 hours. So it's better to have your car prepared with things you need and not need it than to need it and not have it. So there's something to think about as we approach the winter season. And this is the first time folks are really starting to think about it, and it's a good time to do it.
Absolutely. And Shayna, looks like a few snowflakes mixing in there. Hoping for a smooth ride as you continue throughout your day today. We'll continue to check in with the community.
Well, we tend to see an uptick in people catching colds, or even worse, the flu, as the winter weather is underway. And chances are many of us have been Googling just our symptoms that we've been experiencing. So WebMD Chief Medical Officer Dr. John White joins us right now with some advice on how to fend up these winter health issues. Doctor, so good to see you here. So, I know one of the things my mom used to always say is put a hat on your head, because if not, you're going to catch a cold. Is there any truth to that, or is that just been an ongoing myth that many parents have?
And we've talked about your mom before, Jason. I don't want to criticize her.
I love her. Don't get me wrong, I love her. But, sometimes, the family, they have these, I'll just call them different things that they've been saying for centuries.
Sure.
Really interesting to that.
Well, we're in a house outside.
outside. It doesn't really decide whether or not you're going to get cold or the flu. The important thing here is that you do want to bundle up when there's cold weather outside. And that's because it can increase your risk of, if you have asthma, that's going to perhaps make your asthma worse. This is the time of year where we have increase of heart attacks. So Mom might not have been completely right about the hat, but it's still good advice.
That's right. Mom still loves you. Don't get me started about that. Okay. All right. So let's also talk about some of the other more common health issues that people run into. I know hypothermia is also a big issue.
That is correct. So what's happening is, you can point it out, people aren't preparing for the weather of the day. And as you pointed out in the program, it can change throughout the day. So maybe it's not that cold in the morning and they go outside and then the weather drops during the day and then they don't have adequate insulation. Particularly fingers is an area where we see lots of problems with frostbite starting around this time of year. So it's really important to listen to the weather and then dress appropriately for it. Good idea is always layers, right? So you can be prepared. If it gets warmer, you can take some layers off. And if it gets colder, you can put some more on.
So if someone does find themselves either catching cold or the flu, do you have any secrets for how we can get better quicker?
I always tell patients, be a tester. And what that I mean, there's still COVID, RSV, and influenza going around right now. And the good news is, Jason, we can test for all three. You can test for COVID at home, but if you're having symptoms that you're concerned about, go to your doctor, go to urgent care. You can get tested for all three, and typically you get results back nowadays just in a few hours. And the reason why I say that, Jason, is that we base treatment on the first 48 hours of symptoms. So if you come in with flu symptoms 4 or 5 days later, we're not going to treat you with an antiviral. But if you come in early, same for COVID, we might give you Paxlovid. So that's why I say, don't wait around, don't wait till 11 at night to go to the ER. Get tested earlier in the day and then get the right treatment plan.
All right, Dr. John Wang, thank you so much as always for your insight. And I'm getting word that my mom still says that she still loves you and your insight, so it's okay.
Okay.
Jane?
Let's go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where warm air is winning out. 37 degrees keeps it a chilly rain for the morning commute. We'll break down who sees ice, snow, and rain across the Northeast.
Are you eligible for Medicare? Joe Montana is, and he enrolled in a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan. He knows about coverage, and WellCare provides the extra benefits he wants.
Hi, I'm Joe Montana. When you get to be 65, you have little patience for nonsense and inefficiency. That's why when I qualified for Medicare, I went with WellCare.
Take it from Joe. As a WellCare member, you get a $0 or low monthly plan premium on your medical coverage and prescription drugs with $0 generics. And that's not all.
Plus, a flex card to pay for extra dental, vision, and hearing expenses, an over-the-counter allowance, and even give-back plans that put money back into your Social Security check.
Call us at 1-866-650-0259. We'll send you our free Medicare all-in-one guide with everything you need to know about Medicare and tell you how to get a $0 or low monthly plan premium on your medical coverage. Prescription drug coverage with $0 generics, dental, vision, and hearing coverage. A WellCare Flex card. Money for over-the-counter items. And money back in your Social Security check. WellCare is committed to providing our members great Medicare coverage that includes extra health care benefits. If you want to learn more about WellCare, call 1-866-650-0259. We'll send you our free Medicare all-in-one guide. Or visit our website, enrollwellcare.com. That's 1-866-650-0259. Or enrollwellcare.com to enroll today. WellCare, it's Medicare done well.
potential morning commute, especially across the East Coast. We're tracking thunderstorms, rain, ice, and snow is all going to continue throughout the day today. So let's break down what we have right now on radar. Low pressure system, well, it's spinning up across the Great Lakes. And because of that, we are going to continue to see snow wrap around into Minnesota. We do have winter storm warnings in place, blizzard warnings for places like Duluth, where those winds are going to continue to kick up. But as this low pressure system moves up across the Great Lakes, another low pressure system is going to continue to form, that energy being transferred off the coast, and that is what's going to make for a very messy day, really across much of the northeastern region. That 95 corridor from Washington, D.C. to Boston is going to be wet with rain, but it's the interior portion that we're most concerned with ice. So let's get to that right now. You can see all of the pink showing up here on radar, and that's where we do see the concern for icing on our roads. And we head into places like Philadelphia. We just checked in with a reporter there off in King of Prussia, and you can see a little bit of that pink mixing in with the green. And so we have warmer temperatures being wrapped up and pulled up the 95 corridor. And that's why we're mostly concerned with the chilly rain through much of the day today as we continue into the afternoon. But it's the sneaky layer of cold air that is going to continue to bring in some icing concerns. Heading out along I-80, along I-76 as well, you can see out towards State College, we are expecting to see really a much colder layer of air in place. Ice accumulations to a tenth of an inch could make things very slick. Slowing down, I think, is the key message if you're heading onto the roads today. Jason?
Yeah, and while the Northeast is dealing with the potential for some snow and ice, the Southeast is going to have to get ready for some additional thunderstorms and some possible severe weather. 11 million of you are going to be at risk today, including those of you in Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, as well as St. Petersburg, Orlando, as well as Savannah, Georgia. Taking a look right now at the radar, you can already see those rain showers are slowly moving across not only the Panhandle, but for those of you right on the East Coast there of Georgia here. So we do have tornado watches to tell you about. This includes those of you in Southwest Georgia and even extending across the Sunshine State. We got some big cities impacted by this tornado watch. That includes Orlando, as well as those of you in Tampa, as well as Sarasota. As we go hour by hour, here's what you can expect to see here. So we are going to see some of these winds really picking up later on this morning, possibly right around 10 o'clock for those of you in the St. Petersburg area. This is going to continue to push eastward, and at some point, even if you don't see an isolated tornado, visibility could be impacted as a result of some of these heavier rain bands. Now, by 4 o'clock, we're expecting the rain threat to end for those of you across South Carolina as well as Georgia. But for those of you in the Fort Myers area, this is going to continue at least into the overnight hours. Meantime, it's been 15 years since Apollo 17, the final mission from NASA's famed Apollo program, has ended, but it wasn't the last time that we will end up seeing humans on the moon. With the recent return of Artemis 1, NASA plans to send astronauts to the moon once again. And one company doesn't want it to stop there. They're hoping to send as many people to space as possible with commercial flights. Jane Pointer joins us right now. She is the founder and co-CEO of Space Perspectives. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining us here this morning. And I am personally looking forward to this because, quite honestly, I'm a big Trekkie fan, and I've been dreaming about this since I was a child.
Yeah, Doug, I mean, it could be an incredibly exciting time in our industry, right? I mean, we get to stand on the shoulders of giants, of the people that last been on the moon, and now we're looking forward to more people going to the moon in very short periods of time. And for us at Space Perspective, we're using these enormous balloons, like the one you see behind me, that allows a very different kind of space flight. It's going to be very gentle. People are going to be able to have that incredible experience that Gene Cernan and others so poignantly talked about when they went to space, but without all of that rocket flight and high Gs and spacesuits and all of that. It's going to be very moving. And in fact, when Gene came back, the comment that he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that after this incredible experience of being out in space and returning back to Earth, he no longer had the luxury of being ordinary. And that, I think, just speaks volumes about what this incredible experience is that people are going to have when they go to space.
Now, your mission is to send as many average people as possible to space here. So what do you think it's going to feel like for people to be in space? I mean, is it an out-of-body experience? Does it just give you, I guess, just a different perspective on life? What is it?
Yeah, so obviously I've been in this industry my entire career, and so I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people in this industry. And they all speak about this extremely profound experience of seeing Earth from that vantage point. So, when people go up and they'll be looking out from our space lounge, as we call it, in Spaceship Neptune, and then looking through these 360-degree panoramic windows, that thin blue line of our atmosphere, of the curved horizon of our sun, and the deep blackness of space, it is going to be extraordinarily moving. And we have the opportunity of taking people places in a super iconic places. So and you'll also be launching, some of our flights will launch from MS Voyager, our Marine Spaceport Voyager, which is going to be really exciting piece for people. Some will launch from right where I'm speaking to you from, which is Kennedy Space Center, which is also going to be incredibly exciting. And when you talk to astronauts, they'll say, some of the most amazing things to see from space are where ocean and land come together. The colors are amazing. And so launching initially from Florida as we are, people will see across the Bahamas, which astronaut Jeff Hoffman says is the most amazing thing to see. But it's also seeing something you recognize from space, because that sort of sets the scale of our planet. It suddenly grounds you as to where you come from on this beautiful planet. So we'll be flying initially from Florida, and of course every American recognizes Florida, that iconic shape of Florida, and soon we'll be flying from other locations around the world as well.
Well, Jane, if you need a meteorologist to join you up there, please, I'm offering my services for free. By the way, Jane Pointer, who is the founder and co-CEO of Space Perspective, thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Thanks, my pleasure. Ad Astra.
What an incredible experience, Jason. Well, let's talk about this. As if this week's winter storms weren't enough, now dangerously low temperatures are moving out west. Let's talk about it. So high pressure, it builds up in Canada. This high pressure is the door that unlocks the dangerously cold Arctic air that plunges us into really that winter field when the parkas come out and we really just want to stay indoors. And so here's a look at what's happening as we go into next week. It is one to watch, a forecast to watch, especially as we're nearing the holidays. High pressure moves in, and so that Arctic air is also going to spill in across the central plains. Now this is going to be bitterly cold air. At the same time, we'll be tracking the potential of a low pressure system developing late in the week that could spell some snow as we go into the holidays. So it is very impactful. So we are still several days out, but as we know, we are going to continue to monitor what's going to happen here. But this is what I need you to know. You're going to need to bring out all of those layers in the coming days. It starts tonight. So as we go tonight, watch as those temperatures fall into the negatives. Now this feels like temperature. Remember, winds are going to continue to blow quite strongly across the northern plains, and we're going to see those gusts upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour, which plummets that feels like temperature in Bismarck to -5. But this is just the start. As we go into tomorrow, we are expecting to remain in the feels like or the negatives all day long, especially throughout morning hours. And so it is very important that you find those ways to stay warm, because unfortunately this cold air is going to stick around and really continue to plummet into the weekend. Jason?
All right, well, AAA estimates that nearly 113 million people will be traveling 50 miles or more away from home from December 23rd to January 2nd, and that is an increase of 3.6 million people over 2021, and that is closing in on pre-pandemic levels. Matter of fact, AAA is also encouraging people to leave earlier. The reason why is because they're expecting your journey to take upwards of 25% longer if you drive. Now, if you're maybe getting a head start on maybe traveling home for the holidays, if you decide to take an airplane, we are going to end up seeing some delays, especially for those of you in Minneapolis, as well across the Northeast here as well. And we could even see some severe weather moving across the Sunshine State as well here. So for places like Orlando, as well as Tampa, make sure that you either check with your airline or call ahead, just make sure. And then for tomorrow, Minneapolis as well as Boston, Logan could end up seeing just a few delays. This is all due to some lingering, not only rain, but also snow here. And then by Saturday, pretty much the western half of the country looking pretty good in terms of seeing all of those delays here. But the Northeast could end up seeing just a few delays here. In the meantime, week 15 of NFL football is going to begin later on today. We got the San Francisco 49ers traveling up the I-5 corridor all the way up to Lumen Field over in Seattle. So we'll see temperatures starting out right around 38 degrees. We're going to be going down to the mid-30s. By the way, that game is going to kick off at 5:15 local time, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Geno Smith has been experiencing what I like to call a career resurrection. Overall, he's been doing pretty well here, but San Francisco, man, has been on fire, winning 9 games so far this season. Our time right now for Know Before You Go here, and the big concern here, Gene, is going to be what's happening across the Northeast today. A lot of heat here popping up on the radar.
Yeah, icing is going to be a big concern, especially for the morning commute along the Interstate 80 corridor from, I would even say, northern portions of New Jersey. Not just yet, it's slowly creeping in, but especially across Pennsylvania, northern portions of Virginia and Maryland. It is going to be a really dangerous drive if you don't slow down.
And all it takes is just a little bit of ice to make things slippery. And then to the north of there, those of you to the west of Watertown, I mean, we can see anywhere between 12 to 18 inches of some additional snow. Meantime, we're also tracking what's happening across the south. We do have tornado watches in effect for parts of Georgia as well as the Sunshine State.
Yeah, for now, everything is pretty quiet. Of course, we have showers and storms, but nothing severe. But we are going to watch that potential through the afternoon. We do have the likelihood of a few isolated severe thunderstorms from Tampa to Orlando along that I-4 corridor. Staying weather aware today. We're not quite done yet, but this is all going to continue to go.
And while all of this is happening, we're also tracking the snow across the upper Midwest. If you take a look at those wind gusts, over in Duluth, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Over in Milwaukee, we're seeing the wind gusts get to right around 22 miles per hour. Over the next 48 hours, Dave, we're finally going to see this push out.
I think snow fatigue is definitely on my mind, but here's what's still to come. We're going to continue to track what you'll need to know going into the weekend. Get right here with Fox Weather.
Why is everyone talking about Navage and nasal irrigation?
I am on the suffers from chronic sinus infection. You need to clean that crap out of your nose.
Navage is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter, but it's not perfect. Navage is a drug-free way to help flush out allergens, mucus, and germs using powered suction. Join nearly 3 million Navage users so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier.
I love this thing.
It's nice to breathe. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
I started experiencing some slight symptoms of ED. She asked me, do you love me anymore? And so I knew I had to do something about it. I came across RexMD, and you go online, you answer the medical questions.
The medication is at my house within a couple of days.
My partner thinks that I am a rock star.
And it's literally life-changing.
Because it is effective, I say I'm on second height. Get started today with RexMD.com. This is the sound of the season's favorite gift. Right now, Omaha Steaks is offering the favorite gift package. That includes 4 of our famous pork tender filet mignons, 4 air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, franks, sides, desserts, and more. All for just $89.99. That's over 70% off. Order now to include 4 more burgers free. And we'll deliver in time for Christmas. This exclusive TV offer is our best of the season, and it won't last. Order today at omahasteaks.com/TV.
Guild has the designers that get your heart racing. Dior, Valentino, and more. All at insider prices. You, every day. The looks you want are yours. At up to 70% off. But only if you act fast. Because 1 second they're here, and the next, they're gone. Designer sales at up to 70% off. Shop guild.com today.
Fox Weather Alert to tell you about here this morning. From snow to severe, we got a monster storm that is wreaking havoc across the country. Deadly tornadoes have been impacting those of you in the south. And then we have a multi-day severe weather outbreak that stretches from Texas all the way to Louisiana. We had a flurry of tornadoes that were producing some supercells, tearing apart towns and unfortunately killing at least 3 people and leaving a swath of destruction destruction behind states, and hundreds of miles were unfortunately impacted. I should say hundreds of miles of destruction were left behind. Meanwhile, for those of you in the north, we had intense winds as well as some snow that brought along blizzard-like conditions to the northern plains there, turning many highways into what you're seeing right there. I mean, it was just absolutely slippery there. That is part of the reason why many folks have been encouraging people to stay home. I want to bring in my colleagues Amy Praise as well as Jane Menard here. And, it's been a situation where, depending on where you are, across the country, you can see either snow or tornadoes and thunderstorms. And it has just been mind-boggling, monitor the weather throughout this week.
Yeah, coast to coast, it's like no states have been out of reach with that. It all started on the west coast with all the moisture moving through. The amount of snow is outrageous. I mean, this big headline for me out west is 47 inches of snow at Alpha Ski Resort in Utah.
Ski resorts are definitely happy about this.
That's incredible. And of course, we also have had the dangerous weather through the south and blizzards, which have caused major travel delays. So there's a lot to talk about. The storm isn't over yet.
Yeah, and then, Amy, later on this morning, I mean, we're going to unfortunately have to deal with that ice across the Northeast. Yes.
Fox weather alert. At least 3 people are dead and dozens injured after violent tornadoes tore through Louisiana.
A 3-day storm spree across 6 states has left many communities cleaning up damage. Others are left without a home just 10 days away from Christmas. Heartbreaking to see. Welcome to Fox Weather. I'm Jane Menard.
And I'm Amy Freeze. It's Thursday, December 15th. It has been a long week for some communities, and of course, we still have a lot of the storm left. Because once it moves out, we're talking about cold that comes in behind it. So everything is connected, and we still have a ways to go before we're completely out of this threat of tornadoes and severe storms. We'll continue with seeing some of the survey teams out there today.
Yeah, that is going to be a busy day for the National Weather Service. They are going to be visiting those areas in which will show you the damage that has been done to communities in Louisiana and Mississippi. We're going to bring you the latest of that information.
The Fox Forecast Center is tracking these powerful storms as they push east, but look at the damage that has been left behind. It is just so sad to see so many of these people and these communities have a lot to clean up, and we are just days away from the holiday. The storms are now going to be targeting Florida and Georgia. On the radar, we have storms lighting things up. It was an active night last night. And the Fox Weather Alert showing you Jacksonville, Florida. You are in the zone here of severe weather threat. We've seen a new tornado watch also posted up. This will go for you, Jacksonville, and Florida, as you go into the afternoon hours. That expires at 4 p.m. As far as the storms go, once we get through the afternoon, we'll continue to watch and track these storms. The count now for confirmed tornadoes is at 20. This with as many as 50 reported this week. So as we said, the survey teams have to go out and they have to look at what is happening to see the official calculations, look at the evidence there so that they can really convey how strong these storms were. So still developing on what the actual totals will be, but unfortunately, we do have a good deal of confirmation on the warning. 180 warnings came in since Monday. It's just wild. Here they are decorating the map here. Since Monday night, these are the storms that have been warned about as they blasted through. Last night, a very active night. Once again, this is tornado watch now updated, and this will go until 4 p.m. Eastern time. The radar has been indicating this heavy rain and thunderstorms that have moved in across Florida. The best chance, really, that we'll see, I think, here for the heaviest thunderstorms will be Swanee Valley and northeast Florida, south of I-10. So we're kind of getting into the thick of it right now, where we could see another isolated tornado threat happen, especially for areas west of the I-75 corridor. So that's what we're looking at here in Florida. When we put this in the futurecast, you'll be able to see the storms over Orlando, over Tampa. Let's time it out here. This is the total strikes right now, real time. This shows you from Gainesville down through Hermosa Springs. We've got some heavier drenching downpours going on and lightning embedded in these storms. So be careful just for the lightning factor. Here's how the future track plays it out. Again, coming through the lunch hour for Tampa and Orlando right at 1 o'clock. So right through the lunch hour, basically. There'll be less intensity as we move throughout the day. Still stoking storm. And by the dinner hour, we're looking at here, Fort Myers. But Vero Beach at Beacon. See how Beacon's along the eastern coastline there? So that's where we'll start to
finishing. This is moving out. In behind it, there is a real cool down coming. Just sprinkles for Miami, by the way. Rainfall as the front comes through, so this prefrontal rain could be about ½ inch to an inch. Everybody gets that. But what comes in on your individualized thunderstorms or the drenching downpours with heavier storms could exceed that 1 inch mark. Again, the cold coming in means that we could have frost by dawn in the southeastern portions of Georgia and across the south. So some really cold air coming in behind this. That'll be the second portion of this storm. Jane, as we've been looking at the north side of this, the snow has been impressive. Of course, we've had blizzard conditions. And I mentioned earlier, out west, those slopes, we got covered with 47 inches of powder in just a couple of days. Yeah, the combination of all of these things is really having everyone sort of pay attention and be on their toes with the weather.
And this storm, you know, it's kind of lingering. So that low pressure system moving over the Great Lakes means we still have blizzard conditions across northern portions of Minnesota. A couple more inches still on the way. So we're not completely done yet for the northern plains. And then, of course, we talk about how this system transfers off to the northeast, where we're seeing ice reports as well as significant snow, a possibility for our ski resorts, all the way up in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, where they're, I'm sure, awaiting the snow because they haven't quite gotten in on it just yet, kind of grooming it and making it on their own to get their ski season started.
Yeah, on the east side, the thing that's become real tricky this morning is there's a dangerous ice accumulation underway. So the snow develops for the interior, but you've got parts of Pennsylvania and New York that can see a layer of ice underneath some of this, which makes it real tricky. This is another look at what happened in South Dakota and the plains. So it has been harsh. The winds just brutally, you can see how they streamed that snow right back into place after it's been removed. Not just the Dakotas, but also Wyoming has also been pretty hard hit, and Minnesota's stacking up the snow. Duluth's now over 16 inches of snow. Again, the east, this is where it's gotten tricky with the ice accumulation that's underway. And I think that's going to be the real focus here this morning. People are out and about. We've gotten just past the commute. But that slick condition of ice not only is bad for traveling, but also can bring down trees and power lines.
Yeah, you know, we were talking with some reporters that are stationed around the D.C. area, Philadelphia, and they said most of the morning commute has been okay so far. But there have been a few slick spots on sidewalks. So just want to be very careful because it is going to be a tough go throughout the day. Long-term forecasts are pointing to another northeast storm next week. Fox Weather's winter storm specialist Tom Izzo joins us now. Tom, what's all the talk? I'm sure, getting so close to the holidays, a lot of people are going to be paying attention to this forecast.
Yeah, good morning, Amy and Jade. And I'll tell you, this is the season. We are getting into winter, and it really has turned on across a good part of the country, from the west coast and now all the way over to the east coast. We still have blizzard conditions going on in the plains. We're in day 3 right there, and now we're dealing with some ice right here in the northeast. So let's take a look at the maps here and see where we are right now. Certainly, if you take a look at the weather pattern that is set up across the eastern United States, we now have a low-pressure system that is sitting right over the mid-Atlantic, going up the coast, and there it is right there. That's that low that's taken over, bringing up a tremendous amount of moisture, and it's driving over cold air at the surface. And this is why we're seeing the freezing rain and the ice that is going on right now across parts of Pennsylvania. I just looked at some of the webcams, some of the northern areas, secondary roads in PA, and a lot of them are ice covered right now, so really take your time if you're going to be traveling. And Dylan, if you can hold that radar right there, look at the really sharp edge on the north side of this precipitation. It is going into very dry air right now, and a lot of that is evaporating before it gets to the surface, so it's going to cool the atmosphere. So as we go forward in time here through the day, we're going to see the freezing rain right there changing to the blue color into snow. And the snow is going to pick up in earnest across the interior portions of New England. Now on the coast, we're lucky in that respect because it's going to be an all-rain event. But boy, as you get back in upstate New York, into Vermont, into New Hampshire, we go through all the day on Friday and then even into Saturday. It's going to be a pretty long-lived snow event. And again, winter-savvy New Englanders are going to be able to handle this, but it's a fair amount of snow from this storm. Now, the other thing I want to look at real quickly here is look at the snowfall pattern across the east. It really shows the elevation, the mountain range that is located here. All of this precipitation is coming on an easterly wind, and it's going to hit the White Mountains in New Hampshire, the Green Mountains in Vermont, the Adirondacks and Catskills as you get into New York, mainly New York type-oriented mountain ranges, that east wind hits them, kicks up over them, and produces significant snowfall there. So it's going to be a long-lived event. A lot of snow with this activity. And again, the other issue is the ice. For at least the next 6 to 8 hours this morning and into the afternoon hours, that icing is going to cause some real issues on roadways. And then, after the ice is down, if the roads aren't treated, snow falls on top of that, and you have no idea what you're driving over, so please take it easy if you're out on the road.
Tom, before we let you go, Kara, I-95 gets plain rain from this, and so often in these early winter events, sometimes even into the deep winter, people get disappointed along the I-95 corridor. They want to see the snow. Will you talk a little bit about the proximity to the ocean, the sensitivity of the air mass there, and how that warm air works in? Because that's exactly what we're seeing here with the icing today. And unfortunately, people are not going to get anything but a mess in major cities on the East Coast.
Well, that's exactly right. The silver lining there, of course, is one of the most traveled interstates in the country is at least going to be in a rain event, doesn't have to deal with the ice. You're so close to the coast in that warm water of the ocean that it's very difficult to get cold air down along that corridor, that coastal corridor. It does happen, but not with this event. But as you get inland, get a little elevation, that cold air has settled in there overnight, and it's stuck there. It's dense. And we're going to talk about that whole setup of freezing rain when we come back in a few minutes, and why it occurs in these areas has a little bit to do with the mountains located in these regions as well. And we also have to look at next week when I come back in a few minutes here. We are locked in a winter pattern here, and it's going to be very, very active.
Yeah, Tom, we were just going to say, this cold air that's on the way, models definitely hinting at a very active end to next week, just in time for the holidays.
Right now, I've got my fingers crossed.
So do I, but we're going to have to worry about travel, so let's hope everything works out.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, Tom Nizzle, our winter storm specialist here at Fox News. We will check in with you in just a few minutes, and we'll talk more about what's going on in the Northeast and look ahead to the holidays as well. All right, still to come.
Yes, we have new images of damage brought by these deadly tornadoes. After the break, we'll show you the signs given by images just like this that help us unravel the story of what happened on the ground. You're watching Fox News.
Sad day. I was in the Army for 3 years when 9/11 happened. When I saw the television, what was happening, and you just knew your life was going to change. I joined the military because of September 11th. We all have one common mission, and that was to make sure that never happened again on our side.
It's now been over 20 years since that day in 2001. The brave who stepped forward helped keep us safe at home, but their sacrifices will last a lifetime.
The day I was injured in Iraq, I immediately lost eyesight. How part of my head got blown off. It's a heavy loss.
Now is the time for healing and recovery. Many of those who serve can't do it alone. They need your help, and they need Wounded Warrior Project. Please join with your gift at just $19 a month.
I was ready to give up. The Wounded Warrior Project showed me that there's still things out there for you. We're here to help.
Call or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket as a thank you. Your gift will provide free programs and services that make life-changing differences for warriors and their families.
We physically left the war, but we live and deal with the war daily.
I'm going to need help for the rest of my life. Please continue to donate. It lets me know that my sacrifice wasn't in vain. Thank you guys for everything.
Please all go online right now.
Welcome back. Fox Weather. We're under alert for this multi-day tornado outbreak. It's turned deadly. We know at least 3 people have died. All started Monday night. Here's some of the damage scenes where the survey teams are going back. They want to define these storms. They look at the debris that's left behind. They look for evidence that reveals the power of the storm. And you can see this is Mons, Louisiana, from the storm that went through there on Wednesday. And there's a lot of evidence, believe it or not, in the map of what the storm actually did. And you can see some of these trees that have been split in different directions. And one of the areas here, Clark County, Mississippi, you can see how this damage line goes directly in the same direction. Like all of the trees are pushing in one direction. As we see that happening and then it starts to turn, that's when we start to look and say, hey, there's some evidence that we could be looking at a twisting thunderstorm, something that's moving in different directions. If everything was going straight all the way down, then we would look at that as a straight line wind event. But when we start to look at things that curve, that gives us an indication that potentially we're looking at twisting thunderstorms or tornadoes. Then what type of damage is done to those trees and the surrounding areas, that gives light to how powerful those winds were. And that's how we get the categories. The reason that we do that here, and we look for that key point, the direction of the winds, is because then we can estimate how much damage was done by that. Helps with insurance, helps with other things like that. There's Keithville, Louisiana, another area. This is a storm that did turn deadly this week. A mother and her son lost their lives during this storm. Also, there was another person who's not been identified yet in this community, but there's evidence from trees being picked up by the roots. That's one piece that we're looking at. You can see some of the debris hanging off the trees here. They also go as close as to look at the bark being stripped off of trees. They can also find pieces of metal or roots that might have been ripped off. Then they can go back and look for those structures. And again, they know that 100-mile-an-hour wind does that type of damage to a particular structure for us. A lot of this really gives us a good indication of what potentially happened here. Pieces of the roof missing. Again, that's a certain category of storm. Once you start to get trees that are ripped off like this or broken, it's a different scenario versus the roof balls being picked up. And the folks who go out to investigate, they also can look at the life of this particular tree or how long something has been there and the condition that it's in. So what the wind might have done to impact it. Sometimes you find metal wrapped around trees. That's another good piece of evidence and indication of just how strong the winds got. Here we see some crews coming in, and that's the real trick, is because you have to get some of these things off the ground very quickly. But at the same time, you want to allow these to come in and see the damage that was done. So it's basically a two-edged sword here of getting things cleaned up very quickly and also getting teams on the ground to see exactly what happened. So that's a look at what the survey teams are doing out there today. And the severe weather is not quite over, but once it passes and everything's safe, that's when they get out on the ground.
Yeah, so Amy, it's incredible to see what these survey teams do. They have to go out there and they can actually pinpoint the path of those storms. Let's head up to Washington, D.C. this morning at 35 degrees, overcast skies, light rain moving through the area, but what we're watching for closely is that freezing rain and the potential for slick spots across the Northeast as we go into the morning commute, which for many of us has already been underway. And so taking your time, that's going to be the key message this morning. If you do have to head out to work, to school, maybe to the grocery store, get some things going for the weekend, we do have a dangerous afternoon still ahead of us. So even into the start of our weekend, we're going to continue to see the potential for icing, for snow, and for many of us along the 95 corridor, well, just plain rain, but it's a cold rain at that. Here's a look at State College, Pennsylvania, 31 degrees, certainly quite cold enough to see that as well. So we are watching the wintry precipitation fall across central PA, the Interstate 80, Interstate 76. They're very difficult drives right now. I know crews have tried to go out there to really kind of, treat those roads, pre-treat the roads. They can see on the camera lens, as the snow perhaps falls or that freezing rain falls, it does kind of cloud up what we can see, but it is definitely cold enough to see the winter precipitation here in State College, Pennsylvania. We do have winter weather alerts painted across the region. Ice storm warning, I think, is going to be the most concerning that we do see across northern portions of West Virginia, Maryland, and getting into central portions of PA. We're seeing that ice continue to transfer a bit further to the east as well. Winter weather advisories posted for places like Philadelphia. Winter storm warnings are in place, and a little bit further upstate where eventually that cold air wins out completely, and we are talking several inches of snow on the way. So here's a look at the current radar. Look for temperatures 32 in State College, 35 in Baltimore. And so that's going to determine where that snow line sets up, the freezing rain line sets up, and sees what conditions we have in store. So heading to an area that's of most concern right now across central portions of Pennsylvania. And all of the pink here shows that we do likely have freezing rain in the area. And so that is going to bring in a very thin coating of slick conditions. And so we need to be very mindful. We are seeing a little bit of that warmer air to erode in, bringing that changeover to rain a little bit closer down to Aberdeen and Baltimore, but closer up to Scranton and Binghamton, colder air winning out, and we are expecting to see that snow continue. Now, in places where we're tracking ice, power outages have begun to tick up in northern portions of West Virginia, near Morgantown, Hampshire County, about 13,000 customers without power, and that's the concern about icing. It hangs on our power lines, it hangs on our tree branches, and it can lead to power outages, can lead to scattered debris, and you're going to have to be very mindful of that throughout the day today. On that future track note, a lot of that pink starts to change over to blue. Colder air winning out, bringing several inches of snow tonight. Plain rain, cold rain, though, across the 95 corridor, and a tough evening commute. Times it could get some downpours from Philadelphia to New York City. But as we go into the night and open up tomorrow morning, that rain beginning to give way through the afternoon. Snow continues to fall, and the evening, before all is said and done, we could be talking, nearly a foot of snow, especially in the mountains and those higher elevations in upstate New York and the Catskills.
Yeah, snow is blanketing the northern plains a little heavier than what's happening in the northeast. And
Have fun.
The mountains there in the northeast get put snow, but we're talking feet, multiple feet. Snow has blanketed the northern plains. At times, winds have exceeded 50 miles an hour, blowing all the snow in every different direction. So it has been a wild storm, not just snow stacking up neatly, but this is Nebraska, where in Hay Springs, you can barely see the plow in front of you. Like, the plow is trying to remove the snow, and as quickly as it takes the snow away, here comes a big blast of wind, not only blinding you because you can't see the plow in front of you, but also replacing the snow that was just removed. So you see how difficult it can be to navigate blizzard conditions. In fact, a blizzard is not even defined by having snow falling. It's all about snow blowing, and so that's the issue. Again, the Chicago Midwest storm chasers have been out there on the road. I really don't know how they even see the street in situations like this, because it is difficult to make it out. And these are plows that are all lit up with the alarms that are trying to make themselves well seen. These are tricky roads to travel in blizzard conditions. Guess what? We still got it on the map. Here's what the warning continues. Basically from Pier down to Valentine, where the warning continues, and also from Duluth, hugging the lake. That's where it's seeing loads of snow. I mean, Duluth is over 16 inches. They are still snowing there. Winter storm warning continues. Minot down to Aberdeen. This is going to be areas that we still see accumulating snow. So know the visibility is going to be tricky. Travel is harsh, getting out there, figuring out where to go. I know these people are hardy. They love the snow. But as it's coming down, Aberdeen could get another 5 to 8 inches through tomorrow. Duluth could get another 8 inches on top of this. That is a lot of snow to handle in a short amount of time. Taking a look at the low pressure system, you can see that pulling that cold air in, that's what really starts to stack things up. Snow ratios go wild, and we're at 32 degrees for Duluth, and a good spin circulation. The low has moved from Iowa just barely into central Minnesota. So as we've seen that little push to the north, that's why we're starting to see the exaggeration of snow there right along Duluth. And also, we had big winds yesterday blow through northwestern Minnesota, and that took out power. Northwestern Wisconsin, that took out power there that extended over into the Minnesota state line. So you can see the counties here, anywhere between 25 to 50% in the oranges, 50 to 75% in that darker orange. So there were some significant outages for a few counties there, right between the two states. Winds are still big for Rapid City at 35 miles an hour. Minneapolis has sort of calmed down and settled down. They got 2 inches of snow. Things are a little colder there today. Visibility can be affected by two things. One, the blowing snow, but also by snow coming down, or perhaps you've got some fog at the surface. So there are a variety of conditions going on right now for the northern plains that could reduce your visibility. So you've got to be vigilant for that. Wind will continue to be strong from Rapid City up to Fargo. We'll start to see this wrap up tomorrow. So Friday winds down the blizzard in the northeast. And before that's all said and done, again, more than a half foot is expected from Aberdeen to Fargo. We could be pushing 8 to 12 inches in some of those areas in northeastern South Dakota. And again, hugging the lake from Duluth up to Grand Marais. Wild to see the conditions and the amount of snow stacking up there. That's one of these snowstorms, Jane, where people walk out of their door and snow is basically up to their eyeballs.
Oh man, we talked about
snow fatigue. I feel like it has to be a common thing up there. I mean, snowstorms like this, very common, but after days and days, it's a different breed. It is definitely more than I can handle, but the mess along the East Coast for us is just getting started. If you're unsure about what to do when the roads get icy, you need to listen to this one. That's up next.
Stay home. Stay home. And just pray that this pass. And welcome in the spring, honey. You gotta go do it.
This is the sound of everyone's favorite gift. Right now, Omaha Steaks is offering the favorite gift package that includes 4 of our famous pork tender filet mignons, 4 air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, franks, sides, desserts, and more. All for just $89.99. That's over 70% off. Order now to include 4 more burgers free, and we'll deliver in time for Christmas. This exclusive TV offer is our best of the season, and it won't last. Order today at omahasteaks.com/TV. Why is everyone talking about Navage and nasal irrigation?
I suffers from chronic sinus infection.
You need to clean that crap out of your nose.
Navage is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter, but it's not perfect. Navage is a drug-free way to help flush out allergens, mucus, and germs using powered suction. Join nearly 3 million Navage users so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthy.
I love this thing.
It's nice to breathe.
Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hello, I'm Mike Liddell, and I'm excited to announce my original My Slippers are back in stock. Last Christmas, you made them the #1 selling My Pillow product, and now I've added smaller sizes, larger sizes, wide sizes, and all new colors. And with your promo code, you still save $90 a pair. What makes My Slippers different is my exclusive 4-layer design that you're not going to find in any other slippers. My Slippers packed in layers make them ultra comfortable, extremely durable, and they help relieve stress on your feet. Wear them anytime, anywhere. You'll absolutely love My Slippers, and I'm extending my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2023, making them the best Christmas gifts ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen now. Use your promo code to save $90 on my original My Slippers. That's only $49.98 a pair. Quantities won't last long, so please order now.
Weather and severe alert. At least 3 people have died and dozens have been injured after violent tornadoes have tore through Louisiana. And we also had this storm outbreak over 6 states now. It has turned deadly in Louisiana, but 6 different states impacted by the 3-day storm. Definitely, leaving many communities left to clean up damage and left without a home. Just 10 days away from Christmas. Heartbreaking when we see these storm events come through.
And it ain't over.
Storm survey teams are going to be out there today because while we have 20 confirmed tornadoes, we actually have had as many as 50 potential tornadoes. So a lot of work to be done to get out there. Everything started on Monday night. And of course, we know that threat is not over. It's going to continue for Florida as we move into the afternoon. All right, let's get to the tornado tally. We'll start with Gainesville, Florida. That is in the line of the tornado watch that goes until 4 p.m. today. Heads up there. You can see quite easily that it is a stormy sky overhead. Temperatures are in the upper 60s right now. Be vigilant. Light rain will continue, some prefrontal rain there. And then it becomes more intense with thunderstorms embedded. Here's the latest coming in. We have 20 confirmed tornadoes. Everything started again Monday night, and it has been active ever since. As many as 50 reports are out there, and each National Weather Service looks at their region, and they go out and look at the damage that has happened. So that's really what's underway right now. As soon as the weather clears, they're out there to assess the damage and take a look at things. Since Monday night, these are the different warnings that have been put out for various counties and various regions. 6 different states getting these, and we continue with some of these threats.
Now the water is coming your way. Where you live, girl?
Some of those are being tracked county to county, so it's the same storm that you see over several miles. Today, we're looking for potential isolated storms that could happen in Florida. You see that area outlined in red. Here's the storm system right now. From Jacksonville, where it's 70 degrees and light rain, stretching back over Florida, stretching this right across the state, these thunderstorms, where we are seeing lightning embedded in them, so they can be very potent storms. It will be possible for us to see some isolated tornadoes here. First, by the lunch hour from
noon to 2, Orlando to Tampa. Strongest storms looks like they're going to be on the west coast. That's where you want to pay attention here. This isolated threat, especially for areas that are west of the I-75 corridor. So pay attention there. The storm slides down into Fort Myers from the dinner hour until about 8 p.m. You can see it weakening on the eastern coastline of Florida. In fact, maybe there's a few sprinkles left for Miami as everything trickles southward. But it does stay strong on the west coast. And so we can still see isolated thunderstorms all the way through this evening. We're looking for about a half inch to an inch of rainfall coming through with the front. And each storm, as it's a little stronger or a little more powerful thunderstorm, can drop even more rain. And so that's what you need to be vigilant for. I know it has been a long week of watching storms, but this is a situation where we still have to be vigilant on what's happening. West of course, slopes are covered. You can go to Alta in Utah, 47 inches of powder there. The blizzard has been going on South Dakota here. Take a look at Heartland. They had really harsh weather. From deep snow and brutal winds, it's been just a winter blast that's delivered feet of snow. Some of the totals, it's just hard to register. 30 inches of snow in the northern plains. And now we get ready for something in the northeast with dangerous accumulation.
Wait a minute. I gotta turn
nice snow, higher elevation in PA, New York.
Let me turn it down. Why? Because your hostess with the mostest got something to say. All this they talk about purge, January 1st. Yeah, they gonna do this purge, they gonna do all this, they gonna do it. They'll be buried in snow before the bottom let them hit the earth. Okay? Obviously, he's sending all those tornadoes and all that destruction your side. Because you what? You want to do the purge and think about uplifting our life and making our life unpeaceful because y'all want to do a purge. The Father, listen, y'all make a plan, but Father makes the plan. And y'all gonna have to be under all that snow trying to come over here to mess with me. So, okay, let it keep snowing. Let it keep raining. Let it keep doing all this stuff. What are you going to do for the holidays? Nothing. Absolutely nothing and stay home. And then your so-called New Year is the next week. What y'all going to do this? Nothing. But stay home. You might run out through things, that little things that you got to do. But all that fighting and all that purging and all that ruckus that they was trying to do, the Father is they're going to attack you one way and flee 7 different other ways. How about that? They try to attack us with this purge talk and try to put fear in our heart with this purge talk. And look what happened to you. You're buried under snow. Try and dig out your front door first before you try and come and attack me. First, dig yourself out the snow. In the meantime, in between time, I'm going to live comfortably. Just like I always wanted to live comfortably. So all that purging, all that what you going to do, we ain't going to have no nothing. You're not going to have no weapons. You're not going to have no nothing, not even a shovel. Then keep it up. Keep it up, you're not even going to have a shovel. Alright? You better be lucky that you have a shovel. You can dig yourself a grave. Just go try it over here. You know what y'all gotta do. You know what y'all have to do. Cut it out. You know what y'all have to do. Now cut it out. Everybody I know is wrong. I might know little kids here and there, here and there, here and there. But everybody that I know have children. Everybody that I know is wrong. Everybody that I know is wrong. Because I'm out that kid stage. I know no teenagers like that. I'm not going to say hi, goodbye. You know, I know college students, like, but hi, goodbye. But everybody that I know is wrong. Everybody that I fuck with is grown. And they know what to do. They got children of their own. They got lives of their own. They got things to do on their own. They're living a life amongst themselves. And that's hey, that's cool. My life is peaceful. That's cool. Don't try and come over to these people that come to collective and you're gonna be doing a purge and put us up in a war. And God turn that conflict back on you. Now you hearing sounds that you never ever heard before. Now you seeing snow, amounts you never seen before. You see all these things that Father said, nah, not my children, not the ones that I put my hand on. Why should I worry about coming and going? And y'all can't even go out your own front yard. And that's good for you. You live all the way out there. You want it to be so separate from black people. You want it to be all out there. You don't even see a black person all out there. And now when things are turning around, you want to see at least a black person and see how you get out this trouble. Yeah, you stay in your trouble. The white people that was doing gentrification, where they was trying to go up into the black people's community and live up in there and take over Harlem and take up, they were thinking, they were the thinkers, because they thought that if you stay out there with a whole bunch of white people, judgment's gonna come down on you for what you did. So they took their little happy behind and started living in Harlem. They started scattering around amongst us. So they know that we're protected. But if they live amongst us, they're going to be protected too. Just like my neighbor. Just because I'm his neighbor, he thinks he's going to be protected. You know what I'm saying? But, that's what happened. They were placed there. They were placed there. But all those white people got into Harlem just in the nick of time. I don't know what they're going to do. So whenever they go visit their family, they're going to get destroyed. So they stuck. That's why people can't leave Harlem. That's why people can't leave Harlem. Not right now. That's all I said. Don't worry about it. They're coming back. They gotta come back. Because they don't got no other place to go. They're not going to be drafted. They're not going to do all that. So guess what? They did the strong. They got to do the strong. There's no escaping it. The most time they thought they had a warrant on us. Let me show you how funny the Father is. Let me let y'all know how funny the Father is. They got a warrant out on us. You talk about you got a warrant out for, say, anybody. Anybody, you got a warrant out for their arrest or for them to come to the judge. But guess what? In Obadiah 1, there's a judgment against y'all. There's a warrant out for y'all. There's a warrant. There's a warrant out for every one of y'all. Okay? And he's coming to collect. It is a warrant. Because he said, after your 400 years is over, I'm going to judge the nation that you serve with. Okay? So who's that? What nation are you under that you got to serve? Who did you serve under these 400 years? We're going to judge the nation that we serve. Are we going to come out with great substance? Are we going to come out with great substance? And we're going to come out with great substance. And we're going to come out with great substance. Now, however you take that, take it. However you take it. But we're going to come out with great substance. And if you don't know who the Father is talking about by now, then he just wants you to be asleep. He wants you to be ignorant. He wants you to stay asleep. You know, so all that purging, all that extra energy that God was trying to do against the children's father, the father's children, what you think is on your head now? He said it's going to be on your own head. So now this is just on your own head. You understand? This is going to fall on your children's children. You're the children with the children. It is what it is. We have to deal with the inner field. And y'all say it is what it is. In your actions. May not be in your words, but in your actions, it's like it is what it is. All the children y'all pulled out their mother's stomach, all those unpaid days where she had to come and feed your child, or she had to come and mow your lawn, or taking care of your ex-wife, taking care of your white wife. You know your white wife is getting that but broke. That did it to the man. So whenever he had a chance, he had a fancy of doing it to your own wife. And that's when you get the Kyrie and the Yeezy. Doing it to your own wife. And that's why you don't like it. But y'all did it to them and their wives. You did that to them and their husbands. But then, you know, well, I don't know, guys, I guess our guys who get to your white boys too, you know? But I guess that's what their fantasy is. It's to get back at y'all. You know, you did it to our women. You did it to our men. You did it to our boys, like college. You did it to our girls. And now, the guys who just want to do it to your girls and your boys. You don't know. To each his own. Everybody got a life to live. And I don't know what the Father has meant to live. But I really think that if you get that, for all the times that you have displayed yourself around our ancestors and ancestors. You know, our mothers and fathers back in those days. So I guess you didn't get into the past around those boys. You know, the first. We handed down boys, I heard he handed down boys, honey. What have you earned? All right. Well, I finished eating. I finished eating, and I still got my little orange juice. Cheers. All right. Let's get back to the commercial. Once the weather goes back on, I'll take a break, and then I'll talk again. And then I'll take a break, and then I'll talk again. And then I'll take a break, and then I might talk again. It might go like that. It just might go like that. Okay, here, the weather's back on. Let's see. I know when we get up tomorrow, it's going to be different.
We are watching very closely, especially our western suburbs, where we are going to see a little bit of perhaps freezing rain and icing throughout the next several hours. So taking our time as we go throughout the day today, because wintry mess across the Northeast. Here's what our winter stats quite impressive. 44 million under a winter alert. Now, yes, that does include the Northeast and the northern plains across the upper Midwest, where we still have snow falling and winds gusting upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Current U.S. snow cover, 42%. We have added to that with these storms as they continue to push across the country. Coldest temperature right now, -8. Definitely would not want to be there up there in Minnesota. Here's a look at our winter weather alerts painted across the northeastern region. Ice storm warning. We're most concerned with that at this hour. Now, we do have winter storm warnings in place, winter weather advisories, especially closer to that 95 corridor, but we will still see a little bit of split conditions throughout the day. Winter storm warning, though, as we see that ice eventually turn over to snow through the afternoon and overnight to close out our week. Here's a look at our current conditions. You can see all of that pink shading on the radar. 32 degrees in State College, freezing rain, a big concern there. 35 in Baltimore, 38 in New York for that storm is slowly inching in. Conditions going downhill as far as that chilly rain goes for major cities. But ice has been a big concern this morning. It has already led to power outages across the northern portion of West Virginia. Ridgely, where we have nearly a quarter of an inch of precipitation there as far as our pilot of Greensboro, about a tenth of an inch. And what does that mean? When we're talking about, say, about a quarter of an inch, it does bring in disruptive conditions. Split conditions, tree damage. We could see tree limbs broken apart as well as numerous power outages, which is verifying right now in portions of West Virginia. Throughout the day today, you'll see that change over to snow, and snow is expected to continue overnight tonight and through much of the day tomorrow across upstate New York, getting into Vermont and mountains, especially picking up some hefty snow into the weekend. Great for our ski resorts. But New York, why the 95 corridor is just plain rain, and that's because we are just going to be a bit too warm. Yes, you step outside and you say, my goodness, it's cold, but it's not cold enough to support snow. 39 degrees, we have that easterly wind. It's wrapping up that moisture and that warm air, that warm layer of air that's coming up to the south. And so it is going to be a heavy rain at that. We will see downpours at times through the evening commute, but notice temperatures will have warm throughout the day today, getting into the overnight hours. We're warmer than how we started, 43 degrees. Rain will begin to taper off as we go throughout the day tomorrow. In fact, that warm edge of air is expected to push up a little bit further to the north, even as we go throughout the day on Friday. So places in the overnight hours along Interstate 84, portions of, say, northern New Jersey, getting into the Hudson Valley, where we could see a little bit of snow and ice, will eventually turn over to that rain as we go throughout the day tomorrow.
Well, it's just nasty weather you're talking about, Jane. It's awful in the Northeast right now. It depends on where you are. Sleet, freezing rain, and eventually some snow accumulation is expected. We go right now to Fox 5. Matthew Bucci, he is from the Commonwealth. You're out of the element. Been plain rain there so far. Where are you? Loudoun County?
Yes, indeed, western Loudoun County. I gotta tell you, there's a big range of conditions across Loudoun County. Earlier on this morning, we were over to Leesburg, about 20 minutes farther east. There's honestly like next to nothing, mostly rain over there. Now you can see behind me, we're already at about a tenth of an inch of ice accretion here in Purcellville. The leaves look like they have ornaments. Those aren't ornaments. This is ice. You take a look at the sign over here, very similar thing. It's kind of coated in this variety of ice. Icicles just about everywhere. Now, it looks pretty, but keep in mind, this can be hazardous. Any untreated surfaces, sidewalks, secondary roads, you get that pre-treatment, any overpasses, you can see ice on those too, which is a bit of a problem. So I want to identify why we're getting freezing rain and not sleet or snow. The latter two require a deeper cold layer. You talked about earlier on how that layer of warmth is coming into the mid-level. That's exactly right, and exactly what we've seen on the weather balloon sounding launched early this morning from Dulles Airport. It's about 4,700 feet elevation. The temperature is 40.3, so way up there, it's warm upstairs. That means all the liquid falls as liquid, as rain. Freezing rain is about 4,200 feet. Below that, it's cold. Just enough cold air that the rain can freeze near the surface on the ground. So like at 2,300 feet, for example, it's about 25 degrees. So just down by the ground level. Cold ground, that means you get all this to kind of slicken up and you get that delays, that trace of ice accretion out here. We see some heavier totals off to west, for example, Springtown in neighboring Clark County to about 0.15 inches, so 0.15 of an inch of ice accretion so far. Green Valley in Frederick County, about 1/10 of an inch. Damascus in Montgomery County, so closer to DC, is at about 1/12 of an inch. Arlington is roughly a trace. So again, not terribly impactful on the roadways here. Certainly does such a good job with the pre-treatment. And just be mindful this morning until things warm up the next like 3
still have that concern with the afterwash.
No. Great exploration back in Cushing. By the way, you could add this to the True Adventures of Storm Chasing. It could be like a footnote chapter or something. Great to see you from Brooksville, Virginia. Thanks for your report.
Yeah.
All right, this is like a scene from a movie, literally snowing sideways. You can see it here. Heavy snow, powerful winds. They are creating conditions, blizzard-like conditions. The entire system here hammering the heartland. 2 feet of snow in northwest Nebraska. We are at 16 inches and counting for Duluth. Some of the totals coming in with 24-hour amounts are pretty incredible. And blizzard conditions will continue. That doesn't necessarily mean completely heavy snow, but it does mean low snow, reduced visibility, makes for harsh travel. That's really the definition here of a blizzard. Let's go to Minnesota. We've got an image here of the winter wonderland. Put the video into motion. You can see the snow just covering every single thing, barely making out the mailbox at times. And then you go to Badlands National Park in South Dakota. It is just a stream of snow recovering the streets. The initial snowfall was removed, but it's difficult to see the road at times because the wind can just so powerfully put it right back into place. This is West Wyoming where they have deep snow. It's still a light snow at times. It's been consecutive hours of 1 inch per hour. So you see how that stacks up very easily. We have snow removal that comes in and does a great job hour after hour as the snow continues. You can't wait until it's all done. That would be too big of a job. So they do it as you go. Martin, South Dakota, another place where the blinding snow really reduced a lot of visibility this week. Here's what's left. We do have right now on the radar a loop that shows you all the snow being dumped, especially from the Dakotas and Minnesota. This has been pretty impressive for Duluth. It's one of the areas where not only do you have access to the cold air, but you're also tapping into some of that lake moisture, and so that enhances what happens right there hugging the lake shore. Low pressure system came out of Iowa off to the north and east, sort of transition out across the border as we move into late tomorrow. So you still have some of the storm to go. Believe it or not, we can get another foot in places like Aberdeen. All right, Minnesota top totals. Here you go. Southern Garrett, 29 inches. 2 Harbor, 26.9. 22 inches for Rice Lake. Silver Bay is at 21.8 inches. And Twig is over 20 inches right now. Again, these are 24-hour totals that have been added to the snow that they already had on the ground. Some places are pushing 30 inches for the week. There's a look at the blizzard warning continue from Pierre down to Valentine, Nebraska. Scott's Bluster just out of it in the winter weather advisory. Chicago doesn't get much from this. Northwest Illinois can pick up maybe 1 inch of snow, but otherwise this is the northern tier, northern plains event where the wind has been pushing the snow and exaggerating the amount that we're getting. I want to mention here in northwestern Wisconsin, still with big power outages in some of the counties. In fact, in one county said 75% likely winds that took that down in Rusk County, probably taking down some lines that were critical to that area. We'll still have windy conditions right through tomorrow. Snow won't quit either. Rapid City, Fargo, still coming down through tomorrow around 3 or 4 o'clock. We start to wrap things up by dinner time. Until late Friday night. Excessive totals added to what you've already got on the ground. It's just shocking that Aberdeen would still be pushing 8 to 12 inches. Yeah, does not let up. That's right.